in a weird way, it was more out there than like an alien, like entity.
Right. Um, I still liked it, but yeah, did not like it as much.
For sure. Yeah, no, and Nope, it was one of those movies that had me from the start all the way to the end. I was like fully enthralled with it.
I would
Us
really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Us was one of those where it's like, oh yeah, I'm into it, and then like midway to the third act, you kind of get dropped off. You're like,
Sure.
yeah, this is kind of
Kind of weird.
jumping the proverbial shark.
Right. I really wanted them to release the director's cut of Nope though, because when you watch
Fuck
that
yeah,
like original trailer, there's they definitely cut a lot of stuff out. Like that whole the caretaker for the monkey had a whole like
yeah,
part in the movie
yeah.
that you
I
only see like a
remember
section
like
of in
him
the
talking
trailer.
about it.
hmm So I'm hoping they release that someday, but I don't think Jordan Peele's the type to want to go back and do some old stuff. We'll just keep moving forward.
Yeah, if we haven't gotten anything like that for Get Out yet, there's no way we're gonna get that for like Nope or Us. I don't think. I think he's one of those. It sounds corny to say it, but like an auteur about it. He's like, no, this was my vision. This is what you get.
I see. I wonder though if that was his vision though, because I feel like
Yeah,
when you cut a lot of stuff out, I feel like it didn't test well, and therefore you cut that reason, right? But
I think it could have been one of those things where like fat needed to be trimmed, although it's not necessarily fat in like someone's eyes that's enjoying what they're watching, but
mhm,
fat just in the general sense of like,
right.
hey, doesn't need to be here. Can
hmm
we cut this? Sure.
David, what are your thoughts on Nope?
I haven't seen it yet.
Just nah.
I have them all. I have all his films. I just haven't gone around to watching
You
them
never
yet.
see a single one of his movies? You never see him
No.
Get Out? Ooh.
I need to rewatch it. I feel like it hit a little bit differently now.
See
And I
now,
feel
now
like
here's
it
the thing.
probably hit better.
When we did Not in the Movie podcast, we did an overkill where it was like we each had to watch a movie a week. That's overkill. But like you know what? If we did like a movies gone by thing, that'd be pretty easy though. Like time to watch a movie like once or twice a month.
Once a month? Fuck it.
That's the easiest thing in the planet. That's fine. Like get me to sit through like a 30-hour game. All
Fuck,
right, like it's tougher, but
I'll
like
watch 2 a month. Let's go.
that's fine. Like, every other week, I think that's what we started doing at the end. But it was just kind of like we kind of lost the steam on that. But like every other week, just start have a movie book club like that. That's easy.
Super easy. Yeah, I feel like even nowadays, like movies are just like not bite sized, but they're easy to intake for
hmm
sure. Especially when you're at home in your chill domicile or whatever.
Right. Did you watch Long Legs? Were we talking about that?
No, I still haven't. God damn it.
Okay. I'll
Did you go?
mention. Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
I just bought my tickets for Deadpool Wolverine today as well, so
Do
I feel
you
like this
know
weekend will be full.
which theater has the bucket?
I believe it's AMC.
Okay. AMC had the Mario block, and I had to buy that thing like in the morning of and have for pickup. Um, I'm wondering if the same thing's happened for the Wolverine one because you know that one's gone. Like that they're gonna like sell out
100%.
for showing. So I'm gonna try to buy that. If not that, I'm gonna try to be there the morning of preview day and just buy it right away.
Okay, so it's looking like there's two popcorn buckets, and I'm kind of pissed because I think the second one might be a spoiler.
No, I'm
I
not
mean,
gonna.
that last
Yeah.
trailer was fucking
Yeah,
loaded
so
with
don't. Yeah,
spoilers.
Yeah.
I did not watch that trailer. I've already
Good
had like
call.
I've had a hard and fast rule about like yeah I'm stopped. And I'm glad Kevin Feige actually mentioned it too. He's like yeah I might just start recording it. Kevin Feige mentioned he's like yeah I'm gonna consider just us doing one trailer from now on, which I think
Yeah,
that's all
seen
you
that.
need. You don't need
sure.
these multiple trailer ones. But yeah, I was already gonna not watch it, and then yeah, I saw people posting all over Twitter like, "Yo, that trailer was overkill. Like, we did not need that." So I muted a lot of those now. So I've
Yeah,
muted all Deadpool stuff on the timeline.
Yeah, don't even look up like the popcorn buckets because one of them is, if it's in the movie, it's a legit spoiler for the
Dave,
movie, and
is
it's
it?
not the one that we've all seen.
Do you know where it is?
AMC. They're both so AMC has two of them. One is the one that we know of, the Wolverine head, and then the other one's the spoiler.
Oh, so I'm fucked either way. I want to give them money for a spoiler. All right. I'm gonna buy it either way though. That Wolverine
Buy
bucket is
these
so
nuts.
funny. What'd you say, David?
I said, buy these nuts.
Right. Welcome to the Blue Rubies Podcast, episode number 262. I'm Adrian. That's David. That's Kels. This is our video game podcast. We go live on youtube.com/@BlueRubies every Tuesday, sometime in the evening. I think we've been hitting it pretty consistently around like 4:30 PST, but around there somewhere. Are we gonna have a spoiler talk about Deadpool Wolverine? We're all watching that, or David, you're not gonna watch that?
Oh, I'm fucking watching that. I got tickets.
Okay, cool.
It's one of those movies too, unfortunately. Like if you don't catch it that first week, someone is gonna spoil it for you.
I don't even know first week. I think I'd argue almost like the first full like release day, like preview night, you can get away with it, I think. But like if you don't watch it like that day of, I think you're getting screwed.
Well, shit, like David said, the last trailer had tons of cameos, reveals in it already.
Sucks. Why do you do that?
Not only that, but I'm pretty sure it showed off scenes that feel like they're at the end of the film.
Part of me wants to say that they showed that off because there's more to be revealed, and it's kind of like dangling it, like, hey, this is what we're dealing with. This is how serious we are. And then part of me is like, I don't know, maybe it's like some other eggheads in another room that weren't part of like actually making the movie. They're just like, oh, what'll sell the movie?
And now on a scale like 1 to 10, with like 10 being like end game hype, where are we looking at with this falling in that echelon of hype? Because we have not had that close. Like I think Multiverse of Madness almost hit that, but like I think they did not utilize what they could have had with the Illuminati there.
Oh, they're utilizing.
Yeah.
So Deadpool
They're
Wolverine.
utilizing.
Deadpool Wolverine's like, all right, Multiverse of Madness could have did it, but didn't. Let's do it now.
Yeah, no, everything I've seen and from people that I've heard talk about it, they've said that this is the Multiverse of Madness. And what came before was just like child's play. That's just kind of like just getting us started into it.
So
like it's literally one of those things. The more you know about Marvel, 100%, the more you're really gonna appreciate it.
So let's we'll go back to the original question. 1 through 10. 10 being Endgame. Where are we at? Do you guys think? Where would you predict?
I'd say that this will be better than Endgame in that regard.
Yeah, I'd say that just because I feel like Endgame wasn't a ton of like cameos or like stuff.
I'm talking like I think what you to the end though, right? Like once like, oh, we have everyone here, like, which is like doesn't happen.
I think it'll be comparable because we're getting Fox, right? We're getting the Fox heroes, we're getting the Fox universe, so we're gonna have. I think this is Ryan Reynolds being like, hey, we're doing Endgame but with Fox characters.
Okay,
that's what it feels like. Like I haven't kept up with.
It's also Endgame. You kind of knew what to expect, and you knew what you were building up to. So there was like, it's good to finally see it because there was all that build up. You knew what was coming. Versus this is like,
hey, everyone in the audience.
Hey, everyone in the audience. And if you're familiar with Marvel at all, we're really going ahead and just doing fucking deep cuts. And if you've also seen other shit throughout the whole history of live action X-Men, we got even more fun shit in there for you.
Do we foresee this being the spark that puts you back on the Marvel train, or do you think that it's still like, all right, that was cool, but we have to keep getting some more bangers to get back to where we were?
At least for me, I feel like it's going to be one of those. Well, I really appreciated this, but I need to see everything else like start to get elevated to that point.
Okay. So we'll have a spoiler talk next week on that. That'll be fun. I'm excited. I missed that theater experience. I'm wanting that back.
I'm super stoked. It's a big thing with me and my wife. We go to all these movies. It's kind of like the intersection of like what we watch and how it can kind of like cross over, where we both are enjoying it. Like she's seeing the big actors that she loves. I'm seeing the stories that I grew up watching or reading come to life. And it's a really cool intersection. So it's really nice to be able to, for us to be able to go see it. And especially it's like, isn't it the only Marvel movie this year now?
Yeah. Agatha comes out soon, but that's the only movie, which is, that's the first time in I think Marvel history that it's been active choice, right? We didn't get a movie after Endgame because of COVID, but
yeah.
But
and then I think the next closest one is
towards Phase 1.
Brave New World. Yeah.
But what was I gonna say with that?
I
Oh,
think it was. I think this year off that they had is that and like the rider strike year. It's gonna be really good for them. I'm hoping, anyways.
mhm.
Yeah.
I ended up watching that Blockbuster documentary the other night because me and the girlfriend been going through a Harry Potter um thing, watching all those. So I never actually watched Goblet of Fire. I stopped after Prisoner of Azkaban. So
Oh, okay.
now I'm going
You
through them
stopped
all.
right before peak.
Yeah, apparently, right? Well, her favorite movie is actually the first one. Um,
Oh, okay.
it's
Is
strictly
it just
because
like the comfy vibes to it or something?
it has the innocence factor to it, where they're just kids.
Yeah.
It has like that more like uh wonderness to it, right? Rather before it gets fucking dark.
Yeah.
Um,
I think 3 is the last one that John Williams did the score for too.
that makes sense. But I stopped after 3. I read all the books, but I read all the books. I'm talking like when they
Right.
came out,
Yeah.
like around that first week. So
Yeah.
like watching these movies, it's funny because like I'll have like just one like brain neuron like will like strike back and be like, oh, that's kind of what happens, right? Or I'll kind of vaguely be like, I'll tell her, I'm like, don't tell me, but I feel like my brain's telling me this is something that's gonna happen right there. And she'll just look at me and she's like, hmm. But yeah, so I needed a cleanse after that. So we watched the Blockbuster one, and you mentioning that that Marvel movies are kind of like the intersection for you. They brought up, and I thought, it's kind of bummer that we didn't grow up like old enough to have like blockbuster dates, right? Because they mentioned how that was a big thing they would do, where it was like they would go out, and then that's how you would almost like get a feel for someone, where you like wander around Blockbuster. Do you guys have a movie that you guys kind of both like gravitate towards, and then that's kind of how you guys match up, or do you guys like one like the girl walks straight off into romance, and the guy walks straight off into action, and you guys meet up at the checkout counter, and that's it. um, but I thought that's kind of a cool way of looking at it. That yeah, that's how people would date. Like, right? It's better. And that's a cool feel for it. Get your snacks, get your stuff like that, and go with it. Definitely a doc. I recommend that if you guys have a chance to watch that, watch it. It was a really good feel good story about everything. Um, hey, Pepperoni with the howdy howdy. Yeah, you got some
Howdy, howdy.
bright light right there.
Yeah, I have a window like right here next to me, so I'm just getting smacked with it, dude.
Right.
Hell yeah.
All right. So we'll do that. We'll talk. David, did you end up watching Evo?
No, I haven't seen anything with it yet.
We'll talk a little bit about
I saw all the reveals, but that's about it.
We'll talk about some highlights here in a second, but we'll hop out with David. What'd you get this week?
Hell yeah. I got a few things here. I got I imported this instead of just getting the US version because I don't really care about this series that much, but I wanted the Super Mario part of it. And the only way to get it in the US is a combo pack. And I'm like, fuck that. But I got the Puzzles and Dragons Super Mario Edition on 3DS.
Yeah, I have that digitally. Or I bought it. It didn't matter, but I bought it digitally. That was interesting.
Then some cheap games to fill in the collection a little bit on PC. Supreme Ruler 2020. And then one of the few Battlefield games that I had missing from the collection, 1942. Then I got this beautiful pre-order in the mail. I've been so excited for this ever since they originally announced it. And that is The Book of Bill, which is meant to be a much more graphic and kind of older reinterpretation of the events of Gravity Falls through Bill's eyes.
I like that
which
cover.
It's fucking sleek,
Wait,
dude.
what? How did you get there? Is that up right now, or is that a limited thing, or what?
No, it's not limited. Just came out.
I'm gonna
Sick.
put that mark down because Gravity Falls is one of those things I started watching and I loved it, but I just didn't. I forget, something sidetracked me. But I would love to do that more. So what's it called?
It's called The Book of Bill. And
Gravity Falls
it's
is
definitely
ones
one
that
of
you could
those.
just dive down that rabbit hole too.
Oh, 100%. I really wish I had gotten into that series when it first came out because of all the arcs that are involved with it. Even after the series ended, the kind of finale arc that they did was wild. It was absolutely fucking fantastic.
That's so funny. I was
Hmm.
literally, I got the link and I was gonna send it to my friend that works at Barnes and Noble to be like, hey, do you have this? And I look and she had just texted me like an hour ago, new Gravity Falls book.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, thank you. Good call out on that, David.
But yeah, so got that. And then lastly, I didn't really get much on Prime Day, but I did get a couple of nostalgic pieces to my TV collection here. I got Foster's Home for Imaginary Kids.
Fuck yeah, I fucking love
Oh,
that
yeah.
show. I forget who I talked to that just did not like that, but I think it might have been Gore. I love that show.
Whack.
I forget who.
Yeah,
It might not
well,
have been. I don't want to slander his name just in case, but it was someone I remember
fair.
talking to. Where I'm like, who? Why would you not like that? I love Foster's Home.
I had a weird relationship with Foster's. I had to adjust to it because I think it was one of those ones where like my stupid kid brain was just like, yeah, this art style is ugly, so that means it's bad. But I think it was one of those things like I just got like repeated like shown it, and I
Exposure?
was like, okay, yeah, repeated exposure to it, and finally sat down and watched it. I'm like, this is good. I'm an idiot.
You know what? When I think about it, I feel like Foster's Home is that bridge to what the current animation craze is now, huh?
I
It
can
feels
see
like
that.
it's like a mend of like the old one, but like it's kind of like leading steps up to what the new one is. I feel like now.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of the people that worked on Foster's worked on like Adventure Time, regular show, and like the the new wave of cartoons. I think is what happened there.
Right.
'Cause a lot of those people just got brought forth and kind of worked with Cartoon Network throughout the years.
It's interesting. I don't like people. I don't like when our age currently like really talk shit on the art style of that because I'm like, it's just kind of what the style is and what they get into. Like that's
Yeah.
fine.
Also, we grew up on Ren and Stimpy. What the fuck do we have to judge?
Yeah,
Right.
no, a lot of that shit didn't age well.
You know what the art style I always fuck with though, and my mom did not like it because of like she didn't like it. I vaguely remember her saying like she just didn't like the way it looked. Was Ed and
Pink eye.
Eddie,
Oh,
the last of its kind too, but it looked so good.
yeah, Ed, and Eddie was another one, kind of like Foster's, where everything was kind of like intentionally rough on the eyes, I guess.
And
Just
they
kinda,
did
like, rough
they
around
did
the
the
edges.
Yeah.
cells where it would
Yeah.
constantly show the ink moving even though they weren't.
Yeah, no, definitely. And see, that was a weird one. See, so Foster's Home, I couldn't get into because of the art style, but Ed, and Eddie, I was full on that train. I was full on the
I mean,
Yeah,
Ed
that's-
and Eddie was peak.
yeah. And then rips your heart out.
Oh, I guess
Yeah, that.
Barnes Noble has a gold version of the
Oh,
Book of
shit.
Bill.
Ooh.
Sorry, Dave. What else you
That's
got?
all good.
Yeah.
Courage, the Cowardly Dog.
Oh,
Fucking
there's
incredible.
another.
That
God.
While that this was the cheapest one, this was only 19.
yeah. I would love to do like I'm pretty sure we did a Ranksters back in the day of all the cartoons, but Courage is so good. Like I definitely want a dog one day and name him Courage like that.
Hell yeah.
And dude, I remember we did do one. Yeah. Also, let me go back. Everybody said I only watched the first episode as a kid of Foster's randomly, but I regret not watching more of it when I had the chance. Also, I don't know why, but Eduardo and Foster's looks a bit like the character from Book of Life or El Tigre. I can see that.
I can see it.
Um, I remember rewatching. I might have watched it the first time. I don't remember watching it, so it kind of came to a shock. It might be one of those memories that I blank out in terms because I don't want to remember it. But the episode of Courage's actual parents,
Mhm.
such a sad episode. That bums me out. I like when that cartoons can just you know what? Let's just like even Futurama with the dog episode. I forget the name of it. Is like let me
Yeah.
fuck with you guys for just one episode. All right, let's go back to what we were doing.
And see, that's what was so special about that era. I feel like Foster's, Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, Adventure Time, they all had like, not even one, like they had like a few moments that would pop up from here and there that would be like, wow, this is morbidly dark, morbidly fucked up in a way that kids probably. It's palatable to kids, but it's not shouldn't be directly aimed at kids.
That's what
It's so
Bluey
weird.
does, right? I
Yeah.
know a lot of like we mentioned it before. I'm pretty sure, but like I know a lot of adults that are into Bluey. My friend that was just messaging right now, just like she's incredibly into Bluey. Like just watches it on her own. I've heard a lot of parents just say like that's a show they just really resonate with. I was gonna say, and you know I never really sat through Adventure Time. Like I didn't mind it. I just never got around to it. But I like Regular Show a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, regular show is one of my favorites. It's coming back, so I'm super stoked
Oh,
on
is it?
that. Yep.
Nice.
It's with JG Quintel and everyone too. All the people are returning and supposed to be a new story, but continue on.
Hmm.
So that'd be cool.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Hey Pepperoni. So I wish we got more shows that are a perfect mix of horror and cartoon antics. If you haven't
Invader
watched
Zim.
it, watch Infinity Train.
Infinity
fit-
Train.
Yes, I
got
need to track
pulled-
that down.
Yeah, it got pulled off of HBO Max. It's wiped from the earth for tax reasons, but it's a fucking marvelous show.
So Infinity
It's-
Train and Megas XLR are some casualties of that.
Yeah, no doubt. And I have all of Infinity Train, so we can hook that up some way too, if need be.
Yeah, we got methods. Don't you worry.
Yep. Wouldn't. But yeah, highly recommend. That one's almost the perfect mix of like horror and cartoon antics. It's amazing. So fucking good. It reminds me of like those episodes of Adventure Time that you'd get to, like featuring like the Lich and stuff, where it'd be like, oh, happy fun cartoon, and then all of a sudden, demonic, like fucked up horror.
Demonic
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so fucked up. Get pulled off HBO Max. One of my favorite cartoons that was ongoing.
Again, this is why piracy is always ethical.
Yeah.
But last but not least, we end it with Peak.
Yeah,
I did get the Ed and Eddie box
Yeah.
set as well.
I've never seen that last episode or that last movie, The Big Show.
It's so fucking hits hard.
I've heard so
Is
many
that
people say
Holy
like
fuck.
it's such a nice
Or-
bow.
Okay.
I got, David. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna get mad at me for it.
Hell yeah!
You're gonna get mad at me for it.
I love getting mad.
This week I've had like bad, and I've been progressively having it worse. I think it's just because I've also learned that because I take my Adderall, and because I'm like, why the fuck do I get so sleepy? I actually looked it up again, and people are just saying, yeah, it could be a symptom of like your brain is like, oh, you can breathe again. Oh, you're really tired. You should sleep, because I don't sleep that much. And so I'm like, now I'm caught up. I'm like, do I take my Adderall or do I not? But also whatever. But I've had bad ADHD this last week. My gaming has been, for spoiler, today I played about 2 hours of EA College Football 25. Like that doesn't
This
happen. That I've not played 2 hours of a simulated football game in probably since man 2004. I know you have. I haven't. It's great, by the way, though. That's why I looked it up, because the reviews are really good. It's actually pretty solid. But there was an ounce, like this weird spark in me, like 2 nights ago, and that happened yesterday, and then it happened just slightly like an hour or so ago. That's like, hey, drop everything, watch Twin Peaks all the way through. Fuck it.
Hell
And because I got
yeah.
like 4 episodes in, and I was enjoying it, but I was telling David, I'm like, this is, I know, like he saw, he's like, you're catching what they're throwing at you, and you see it, you see the vision. I'm like, I do, but I'm like, so tomorrow I'm going out and doing something, but after that Thursday, I'm like, maybe
He
I
said
maybe I
it, but
just
I know his ass was on Street Fighter on Monday as well. It just kept popping up in the corner of my screen.
I tried
I'm
to
like, yeah, buddy.
yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, no, I'm like, maybe I go do that. So I'm thinking about maybe, because I would love to just binge it and get the fuck out of here. So we'll see. Also watching Long Legs made me really want to watch Twin Peaks as well. Go figure. Anyway, a weird thing about some of the older Cartoon Network shows that my only exposure to them is either catching one episode on a DVD where it contained all Christmas episodes of all the shows. Interesting. You're younger. I know you're like 19 if I recall correctly, around there. So I'm
It's
like,
interesting.
the boomers here would love to probably like compile a sort of like best of list, because we had peak. I feel like, dude, like we're talking like Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Lab, Edda and Eddie, and then we're talking like, that's not even like, we could talk about like the Nickelodeon stuff there. That because I was even more of a Nickelodeon person, but I fucked with a lot of the Cartoon Network stuff. But then we're not even talking like,
Same.
we're not even talking Toonami, right? Like we've not even approached Toonami, where it's like
Oh,
there
a
we
lot of people's proper introduction to anime.
kids. There's a reason why kids were always like, you got to get off the like in front of the TV, right? Like kids have a phone problem now, but like kids would run the fuck home to catch episodes of DBZ.
It's like the only time that your television station had a storyline itself.
That I told you, right? But there's times where me and the girlfriend have found like, here's a 12-hour run of Toonami, like uninterrupted, like ads and everything, And dude, it's so nice to put on because like fuck, there's like all those the commercials you remember where it's like, oh, remember that thing? Oh shit, super fun nostalgia trip. But yeah, I mean we got to make a best of list because yeah, you're missing some solid, incredible cartoons through that.
You lived until you watched Mr. Meaty.
Cool.
You know what I liked a lot? I like Crank Yankers, dude.
I liked it at the time. I don't think I'd appreciate it nowadays.
I don't. I know I wouldn't. That's why I'm not. I'm never gonna watch. I'm never gonna go back to it. But like,
Yeah.
my buddy would have the yay time to make the donuts yay as his like voicemail or something like that. I forget what, but man, those were the days. I never had watched those channels. I was a PBS Kids watcher. I didn't watch the cool cartoons outside of DVD. Ooh, you're missing a lot.
I mean, PBS did have Wishbone, and Wishbone did fucking go hard.
And Zaboomafoo.
Bear in the Big Blue Block or big what was it?
Big Blue House there.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was called Pride of Lions. That was another good one.
All right, Dave. What else you get?
That's all I got.
Kells.
Yeah, so first thing I got is this little game. Came out. It's a return to one of what I would call one of the greatest Western RPGs. It's been gone for about 11 years. This year they came out with a new one, so I just had to get it. Adrian was talking about it a little bit. We have NCAA double.
Dude,
I'm not even mad. You're not wrong.
And see, Adrian can probably attest too. Okay, so I start this off by saying, fuck EA, don't support them. I bought this used. Someone was selling it on Facebook. I think it was $60.
okay.
So I even got it cheaper. Perfect. I guess they didn't realize that their PS5 didn't take disc. Anyways, my win. Their loss. This game is great. Like, have you played Dynasty at all, Adrian?
I'm playing the career mode.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Well, are you doing the coach or create a character
Coach.
thing? See, that shit's so crazy. They added so much shit into it that wasn't even in the older games with like recruiting, like your week to week management of the team, individual players.
Incredibly, like I know the game. I am incredibly deficient in understanding all the numbers and everything going on the screen. I can tell you like halfback, fullback, I know all that, but like I don't know how to manage it. But I kind of just like threw a dart at the board and kind of just hit what I thought I would. But it's super fun going through that so far. So I'm about 2 games into my season so far. I finished them both today. Yeah,
that's almost where I'm at too. I think I'm on my 3rd or 4th game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's already interesting to see like the storylines and kind of like the metagaming that's taking place like outside of like the individual.
Where it's telling you like, hey, this is this person's top 5 schools, and like you'll see kind of where they rank up at and stuff like that.
Yeah, and even once you get a little bit deeper into it, like you actually start like interacting directly with the player, which is kind of weird. So it's really I don't know how to put it, but like week to week, like when they're making these decisions, you're getting messages back and forth. You're like, man, fuck these kids.
Yeah.
you want to go to my school? I have one of the best schools in the country. We are undefeated,
bro. And then I put just whatever the beginner mode was, because like I said, I haven't played a sim football game in a while.
For sure.
But my first game was against I forget what school it was. It was some, I think I want to say some Northwestern school. It was like 104-7. And then the last game I played was against Arizona State, and it was 55-0. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, bro, where's y'all should be crawling to me right now. Like, we just smoked 2 schools and we lost 1 touchdown between both of them and accumulated 150 points combined.
Right, your coach level's just shooting through the roof.
I'm like, where are you guys at?
Adrian, does this hit close to home for you as someone that does esports?
Not necessarily. Because I don't have to do with the recruitment factor as much. I think in a larger scope, if I'm able to get like if I'm able to score like a 3rd solid year, because unfortunately we only do well in 2 games. We've not had the reach in other games, but like a dream of mine has been like, because retention at schools are tough. Like you're kind of playing a mini version of college at a high school level, but like you have to push a lot harder because you have to convince parents to go outside of their own school zone, right?
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking like between like making films that make money and getting like state awards that I could start to pull my own weight, you know, and start to like make my own name out of that, like get people to come down and bring retention up to that. So kind of in that way. But on a grander scheme where they're prospects, I'm not used to that, right? So that doesn't hit close to home because I'm not used to like someone scouting out which school to go to in terms of that, because that really is you don't being an English and education college student, right? Like I never really participated in any of the athletics, but athletics are such a huge thing at that level, and you really start to kind of like realize like yeah you're having to sell your fucking team and like get these kids to go on board with you and
Not only the team, it's a crazy thing. So even in the game, it's a thing where like you have to sell like the campus atmosphere and like I forget what it's called, but there's another one for,
academics,
like academics in like the local area too.
yeah,
Like you'll have a rating.
yeah,
And,
it
like
gives
mine
you
is
a
like a C minus because I'm doing Oklahoma State and I'm very familiar with that town. It's definitely a C minus college town, and they
Ooh,
and they
shots
call us
fired.
out on there. Yeah.
well no
I
well
mean,
you're not
it's a
far.
small place.
I'm doing New Mexico, so it's like yeah we're not
Mm,
known for that big in
yeah,
in
we're not
our
like Austin, UT Austin or some shit. I mean, it's just not going to be comparable at all. I mean, if you look at theirs, there's probably like an A plus rating.
right, but we're starting from the bottom, right? So we're like having to
Right.
like you have to climb it up because yeah you got to have and it tells you campus life, academics, it asks you for appeal like across the country, like are you guys viewable on TV and stuff like that.
And once you get into like off season stuff, I think you can like actually improve your facilities and shit like that. You have contract, you have to sign your coaches, you have to meet certain.
It's really a beefy football game.
It's a beefy sim, and that's why like I say it jokingly, but I'm serious. This is like it's a Western RPG for all intents and purposes.
No,
with
that's
a
why
little
I
bit of
didn't question it,
simulation
because honestly, that's
thrown
what a lot of those management modes honestly really do feel like.
Yeah, and that's kind of like we've never. I take that back. We have had some back in the day of like the I forget what they're called, but it's like the manager sims where it's less like the gameplay and more like the ones and zeros. And
Yeah.
this really feels like almost a return to that, but mixed in. So we've had recruitment stuff and like creation stuff before in the past, but I feel like this is that next level for like the next gen consoles for or current gen.
Hey, go
for lack of
figure.
a better
Give them
term.
some competition and they pick it up.
Yeah, and it's great. Like this kind of makes me, in a weird way, excited for Madden to see like what that has with it. But on the other hand, we've been jaded for a lot longer than we had. Like this had time to cool off, so now we can be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Meanwhile, Madden, we have last year's to look at and be like, yeah, this is where they went wrong. So
But I
who
think
knows?
now,
But
but they don't have the license in full, right? Anymore.
they have it for simulation, but not for like arcade. I think is the stipulation there.
Mm.
Technically, if some company wanted to come out and make like an NFL Jam or NFL Street again, they'd be able to.
I'm hoping this does kind of cause a rift or at least some sort of competition to like pick up the content because yeah I wasn't gonna I had no eyeball on it whatsoever, but I saw that the Metacritic's like 83 84 right now,
Yeah.
which is not a thing for football sim games, right? Madden. So that's why I went through that. But yeah, it's been fun so far.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're anyone out there's interested, pick it up used. Don't give EA your money. You're not
Game
losing
Pass. What I'm
anything
doing
on
right now
it.
is the 10-hour trial.
Yep, the EA Access or whatever, EA Play. I forget.
Comes with Game Pass, so 10-hour trial so far. So I put like 2 hours in so far, 3 hours in. So got some more
Perfect.
games before I. By the time I'm done with it, if I'm still interested, I'm sure I can find a pretty solid used copy.
Yeah, you'll probably find a deal somewhere.
Yep.
No doubt. So other than that, my second cop of the week was, as we were mentioning earlier, Evo was going on. That was a big to-do going on. But it was kind of interesting. They were actually giving out some stuff for it. And so Evo was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I already got mine in. So for Evo, we
Yeah.
got the Chipotle burritos.
David, you fucked up. You should have watched it, brother.
The fuck?
Warriors before X tweeted it, so like, I got 2. I mean, I got
I
one with me.
don't get fucking Twitter alerts anymore.
I know
It's
you gotta
fucking
delete your
dumb.
app or something right now. But you would have see. Here's the thing. You would
No,
have saw
it's
it.
even on the website.
You would have
don't
saw
get-
it if you're watching it with us, but what happens, and this happened last year actually. Chipotle is sponsoring Evo,
And they
and
do Tekken.
yeah, specifically Tekken, but yeah, but they sponsor all of Evo actually. But
Yeah.
like on there, they give out burritos, and it's on the screen. Hey, text this thing to this number. If you're fast enough, you'll win a burrito. And War 64 posted about it on Saturday night, and then we saw it Sunday live, but War 64 still tweeted it. But Kells and I were watching it, and we scrambled to our phones and grabbed that bad boy right away. So, shout outs.
I mean, luckily I don't like Chipotle, but
Hey, free
Yeah.
burritos, free burrito, brother.
That's true.
And I think in Tekken right now, David, if you give a shit enough, it's funny. I think they have a event going where if you go into the lounge, you fight King in the corner where there's a Chipotle in the corner now. You get free Chipotle merch in game.
Yeah, you get
Interesting.
customizable stuff for fighters and your avatar. It's
Yeah.
so weird, but so cool.
Shout outs. Got a nice little burrito here for us on the podcast.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I didn't pull it out.
Mm.
But David, have you ever heard of the board game? I'm sure you have. Takedo.
Oh, I meant
yeah.
your
My bad.
But either way.
Yeah, I'll say that real quick. Takedo. I got Takedo for Prime Day. On here, what did I get? Let me see real quick. I just ordered whatever I usually do.
I got the half steak, half al pastor since that was new. Had to cop. So I've always heard that the hack is do half and half because then you'll get like a full scoop instead of a half scoop.
Hopefully there's hacks anymore without those fucking people just like being weird and like recording employees, which is really fucking
Right.
weird. Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, I miss the days where I could just order like a McDouble and a McChicken and they knew what the fuck was happening.
Right. But no. So what people do is they record Chipotle employees and they'll say like, oh, that's all you're gonna put in there, so like pressures them to put more on there.
That's shitty.
Yeah, don't do that.
So shitty.
I got a
Funny
chicken.
for all the wrong reasons.
Right. I got chicken with brown rice, black beans, cheese, fajita veggies,
Nice.
2 kinds of salsa or 3 kinds of salsa.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll try that. Tell me how that one is though, because I just defaulted to my regular one, but I got one more on lock.
Hell yeah. But that's all I got. I got a college football and a nice fat
Nice
burrito.
It sounds like a college
that's,
student right there.
Like the size of my forearm. Jesus
Right?
Christ. Definitely is thick. It's crazy. Small child.
It's that you ever watch the Bo Burnham one where he has that whole the song where part of it's just him talking about how he goes to Chipotle and he's like, I wish they would warn me before they tell me that I'm about to overload the burrito. It's gonna fall out. Like, just tell me. You're the expert. Let me know. Like, hey, then give me a warning. Hey, what you're doing right now, it might not all fit.
I remember the first time I went doing that and being like super anxious about it. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You could have prevented this.
Mhm.
And nowadays it's just like, fuck it. If you either gonna fuck me up or you're gonna get fucked.
Mhm. Anyway, all I got was Takedo.
Oh, nice.
David, what'd you play?
Hell yeah. I'm almost fucking done Persona 3 Reload. Almost fucking done this goddamn game.
Do you like it or
I'm
not?
so
like it?
frustrated. No.
I love how like week 1 it was like fuck this game. Week 2 is like this game's getting better, and week 3 is like I'm almost fucking there.
Here's my problem with it. And this kind of goes into like an element that I know it's kind of a me problem more so than anything. But this is why I definitely hate games that rely a lot on a silent protagonist and you inserting yourself into it. Other SMT games in general, I feel, handle the concept well. But I really hate it in Persona 3. Because there's moments where, like,
Slap it.
without going into spoiler territories, there's a character that is being a major fucking prick just constantly.
Constantly,
and for some
is that what you
reason,
said? That's great.
yeah, just constantly. He's constantly a fucking
Constantly is what you gotta say.
constantly. Yes. And it's one of those things where throughout most of the game, you can kind of give it back to him and tell him to fucking pound sand. But there's one moment, literally within the last like month of the game story, where he does he has this outburst that is so out of fucking left field and so fucking asinine that I'm like, where's the kick him in the dick option?
But
Where
this is
where
not in the original game.
No, this is part of the original story as well.
So you were expecting it, but you were still like hoping they changed it.
Well, no. Yeah, I was hoping that there would be more options because this is like the one time where it's like, as a silent protagonist, wants to kick this dude in the dick for the audacity of the fucking statement he just leveled upon me. And there's no option for it. All the options are forgive him, just with like different tones of forgive him. With like, no, it's fine, I understand, or that wasn't cool, bro, but I get it. And it's like, no,
Can I
no,
interrupt you?
where? Go ahead.
I love that you're saying this because it makes me just love Mass Effect that much more.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm a Paragon, but if someone pissed me off, I'll go Renegade for a choice or two. That's fine.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I decked that reporter.
Yes, that's exactly what I was just about to say.
Exactly,
No, that
like,
reporter always deserves to get punched the fuck out.
I'm the best person ever sometimes. That deserved a punch.
Yeah,
That's
like
that's
I remember
the
the
role
first
play.
time I played it, like I had no clue what was gonna happen. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, and then he just fucking decks through, like, oh yes, no, that was awesome. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah, no, 100%. Every fucking time I play Mass Effect 1, that reporter gets punched. I don't care what playthrough I'm doing, they get punched. But yeah, and so that's an instance where I'm like, throughout most of this game, you can even be like an unwilling protagonist where it's like, all right, it's time to go save the day. And you're like, I don't feel like it. And then like your character is browbeat into saving the day. But this one time that a character gets so out of line, belittling the main character and just being an abject, sissy little shit, and just crying about how unfair everything is. And it's like, this is the one time you don't give me an option to be an asshole to this guy. Fuck off.
Yeah, I think
And
silent protagonists are just hard to pull off. I think it now, especially now. I don't. It's tough.
My
Like-
controversial opinion is I don't like silent protagonists that you still have to do dialogue for.
yeah,
Sure.
Like my
Half-Life
favorite,
is a phenomenal example of a silent protagonist done right.
What
Doesn't
is?
talk.
Half-Life.
Half-Life.
Mm.
Doesn't
I,
talk.
um,
You don't choose dialogue for him, but you learn everything you need to know about his personality and who he is through the environment and the other people around him.
right, it's kind of like the thing, like Doom Guy or
Mhm.
like Isaac from Dead Space. Horror games do it great. Just
Yep.
the no talk, all action. I like that. Let me see what they're about through their actions. I don't need to hear from them. And I just hate the dialogue options for silent protagonists. Because on one hand, I feel like it's cheap, and on the other hand, it feels lazy. It's like, did you not want to
Yes.
pay someone, or did you? Is this an artistic choice? And you just like, I don't understand why you would do that, and it just gets in my head. But yeah, horror games, I feel like that's where it's done perfectly.
Also, I
Oh,
just hate
100%.
thematically. It's like it doesn't really make sense often. Like, why are they silent?
Yeah, for exactly.
Like any sort of like Zelda, I have to put my suspend my disbelief, right? Because I'm like, yeah, this character just does not actively talk, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And those, I'm like, can we just talk? Or I don't know. It I agree.
But yeah, and it's beyond that, my other big kind of frustration with Persona 3 at this point is if you look at how long to beat, for a completionist run through, this game is set for like 77 hours. I'm on 110 hours because RNG has fucked me that hard. I fucking hate RNG with an absolute fucking passion. I don't mind it when it's a controllable element, like in a trading card game or something like that, where there's ways to manipulate or work around the RNG. I fucking hate it when it's like this shitty goddamn shuffle system where I'm just trying to grind for a couple items or I'm trying to grind for a bit of money that I need to get take care of an objective, and it's taking me fucking hours because the RNG doesn't want to put the card in the like 3 to 5 card options that appear randomly when I meet the requirements to defeat enemies in a certain way.
Especially in a
It's
single player game. Like, fuck that. Like, I kind of get it kind of get, I can hand wave it away for like online or like an MMO because it's meant to be grindy. But for a single player game, go fuck yourself if you're gonna put that many layers behind it. It's so stupid.
100%. And again, it was one of the major reasons why I could never get around to finishing Persona 3 and Persona 4 back in the day. And it's just because one, I really didn't like the school life mechanics, honestly, until 5. 5 was the first time we're like, holy fuck, I actually give a shit about these characters. It's interesting. They have interwoven dynamics, and like it feels like it's a big grandiose story that's kind of actually building up here and is interesting, and I care about their lives and what's going to happen. And also it fucking got rid of all that RNG garbage, because it's just like, why don't we just make this more like mainline Megami Tensei instead of having
until Royal with that one boss.
until I mean that one boss feels definitely more like fucking proper SMT. But I mean, you figure in mainline SMT, there's a boss you can't defeat unless they're on the proper moon phase, and that shit they don't even tell you and explain properly.
I learned a month ago that, because I never played Sierra games, obviously, that you can hardlock yourself out of the whole game if you fuck up and do like one thing wrong at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, Sierra games are fucking horrible for that.
I did not know that. It was like what? Like you need an apple or something, and you
Yeah,
have it
in
so you
King's
eat it.
Quest.
You eat it, and then that fucks you. You literally can't finish the game.
Yeah, if you eat it or if you just forget to get it. Likewise, there's a lot of other times where if you just happen to forget an item or not know that you need to go grab an item, you can just immediately lock yourself out of being able to finish those games.
So stupid. I assume it was because you're muted.
I say in a way I kind of like that because it's like the Oregon Trail method of playing a game. It's like you just kind of hammer at it until you figure out.
Right,
what you
and
did
I
wrong.
like that part, but
Yeah.
not if it's like a whole ass, like you're spending many hours to do this, right?
Yeah. 30 hours later, hey, do you have that apple? What apple?
Yeah,
Okay, I
because
will
I
go
mean,
buy
luckily those
one.
games aren't long. They're usually like a few hours, but it's still like if putting it in the time of when they came out, internet's not really an option to figure out how to solve the game. So unless you went out and bought the strategy guide for it, how the fuck are you supposed to figure that out?
Which that's a reason why a lot of those were complicated, was they wanted to sell strategy guides.
Well, even like so I remember one of the only games I really bought a strategy guide for was Pokemon Ruby. There was some intricate shit with that too, and that was like right on the cusp of internet. Because like you had like
Yeah,
there's like all the glyphs that you'd have to figure out with like the
and
Reggie
the
stuff like that.
braille that you have to figure out.
All the
Yeah, the
Reggie Rock and
Braille.
all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like how to even get a fucking Relincath and shit like that to finish out your Pokédex. There's a lot of weird shit like that that you just had to. If you didn't know someone in the know, you had to fucking wait another 2 years for X-Play to come to be a thing, or buy
I mean,
the guide.
Pokemon has like for a game series for children, it has a lot of weird fucking ways to obtain things. Like there's a Pokemon that you can only evolve by holding the game upside down. There was in fucking Sword and Shield, Yamask had an evolution that it needed to be like less than a quarter of its total HP and needed to win a victory near a specific rock in order to level up.
Remember how you unlocked
Just
Luigi in Smash Melee? You had to finish the Mario Bros. Adventure Mode level with the time ending in 2.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck? That's
Mhm.
cool though. I
Imagine,
that.
like-
But to be fair,
Imagine how
didn't
many times
Melee
that
also
run-
make it so wins you could get unlocks?
I think I forget if I'm pretty sure Melee might be. But can you imagine that? Like just what, like you and your friends are like, what the fuck? How did you do that? I did the exact same thing you did. No. How much just like no one, and then you spawn. That's how those playground conversation, how to unlock Sonic in Melee happens.
Yeah. Um
See, we never
Oh.
talked about Smash at the playground. It was always Tenkaichi.
No, Smash came up a lot, but that's because back in the N64 one, it was like, oh, I know how to get Goku. It was like, no, fuck off. No, you don't.
No,
It's not a thing.
I know more than you.
Back in the early days with cheatcc.com, a lot of my time spent on there.
Love that shit. That's up. That's literally a core memory. Going to Google and typing in cheat code and being like, "What the fuck?" There's just all these cheat codes if you Google search it. That was my first time ever Google searching.
Or being frustrated by one that obviously is fake, but your brain wants to believe. Yes, I knew there had to be a way to resurrect Aerith. Let's go.
See, I knew I could see Laura's boobies.
Why? What do you mean I can't find a Mewtwo under this truck?
Oh, the days when we were stupid. David, what else do you play? Or was that it?
That is it. Oh, I didn't finish my thought on that. I forgot that's what it was even. It's like you guys made me so happy. I forgot I was being mad at something for a second there. No, I'm very frustrated with it. Like I said, the RNG is absolute fucking horseshit. Anytime your RNG is so bad that it has the potential to put someone fucking 40 hours above what the estimated fucking how long to beat time is fucking wild to me. Absolutely wild. I'm almost done. And again, it's the frustrating thing that a lot of the core elements that I do see people really love about this game don't really happen until the end of the fucking game, when it's too late to give a fuck. A lot of the characters, I don't understand why people like them. No, like flat out, Junpei and Yukari are like characters that are the community has so many ride or die feelings for. And they're some of the worst fucking abominations. Just absolutely fucking pathetic, miserable fucking characters. And by the time they finally do things with them to kind of make you give a shit about them, it's far too late. Not helped by the fact that, like, for your core party members, for people that are literally in your first fucking team in the game, Junpei and Yukari, if you were playing original Persona 3, Junpei has no social link, so he just gets no additional story other than what progresses naturally. And Yukari, you need to have a certain social rank at its max value. And you also need to wait until you're at a certain part in the storyline, which is like at least at minimum halfway through the game. So you need to max out a social link and be at minimum halfway through the game before you can do the social link quest for one of your starting party members. Imagine playing through fucking Persona 5 and you couldn't do fucking Panther's social link until halfway through the game.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the first thing that came to my mind too, is like, how many, like, do you think it's just like nostalgia that Persona fans are looking back on it fondly, or do they just genuinely like it? Because
I can let me make a assumption real quick, David, first before you give a more informed answer. I think when you compare the tones of the games, 3 it gets more cheery as it goes on between 3 to 5. So 3 is dark, 4 is lighter, 5 is the lightest. And I feel like a lot of people have those rose-tinted glasses with the first one, 3 again. But they also just think the series has gone a little bit too happy-go-lucky cheery. And I think that'd be primarily it. I think there could be some more to it, but I think that they like the tonal shift, or they don't like the tonal shift, and they have not gone back and really evaluate like how much the gameplay has evolved, how much the story has become more cohesive, how the characters have linked up. They just see the tonal shift of how things have gotten like more cheery and almost like anime high school, like, ooh, cool, let's all team up together, right? Even though it is the stronger story.
It definitely, tone is definitely part of it, because as much as I adore Persona 5, it does have some tonal whiplash problems to it. One of the first storylines that starts things off is literally a teacher sexually assaulting and sexually abusing his female student, and yet half of your romance options as the main character who is a second year in high school, are all adult women.
Yeah, and then,
One of
like,
which being your homeroom teacher.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a tonal whiplash. I don't think you thought that one through.
Do you think that gets fixed?
Or that, and then Ryuji gets sexually assaulted like halfway through the game too.
Yeah.
Do we think that gets fixed? Because I feel like a lot of people genuinely overlook that.
I feel like with Persona 6, a lot more thought will be put into it, 100%. Because I feel like Outlast has always been that niche where Nocturne was the first game to really get them attention in the West. Considering at the time, I'll never forget
Dude, it
X
had
Plays.
Dante
It's the
in it.
Grand Theft Auto of RPGs.
Weird.
Yeah, it had Dante in it. Of course, we love that shit.
Yeah, and it had Dante from Devil May Cry. So there was a lot for its time, Western attention on it, and then Persona 3 brought more eyes to the series because the evokers have a certain imagery about them. So that caused a lot of controversy and got attention to it. But then the Alice as a whole still basically was kind of like a niche company until 5. And so I feel like they just were kind of going about doing whatever the fuck they wanted because our core audience doesn't give a shit. But now that they're like, oh fuck, we know how to make a hit. We got to keep making more hits. I feel like there's going to be a lot more of that thought of like what a worldwide audience, and you even see it with some of the revisions to the games where like that scene that you mentioned with Ryuji got toned down and changed in Royal versus what happened with. In fact, a lot of things got toned down in Royal.
What happened again? Re-walk that through. What happened again?
So with Ryuji, there was this very effeminately gay couple that sexually harassed him when at one point in the game, and the implication.
Like yeah, there you go. Never mind.
And the implication is that they pull him away to do things to him, and your main character's like da 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 da.
What was the revision?
Now
the revision is that they still kind of hit on him, but then they're like, oh, okay, you're not interested, whatever, and then they kind of fuck off. But it's still somewhat played for laughs.
Well, they try to get him to do a drag show, I think is the concept.
Yeah.
Like that. They're like, oh, you'd look great in drag. And he's like, yep, no, thank you. And everyone just kind of laughs it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they do, because there's times Atlas shows a progressiveness. I think the Catherine being one I still want to go through with the full body edition. I want to see how that was played out. But I don't think people, I don't know. It's having. I want to know if there will be a collective outcry if they run with the "you could fuck your teacher" route again. I don't think they could be doing that again.
I think they could. I honestly don't, because it's such a.
If they stay with high schoolers, no.
I think it's such a weird thing, right? Because it is a Japanese company making it. Part of me wants to say that they probably don't really care a whole lot about the sensibilities across the world, because I mean they're already selling a shit ton anyways.
Right.
But part of me also is like, no, naturally, this is what a company's gonna do, right? So it's kind of weird. Like, I feel like on one hand, they're just gonna say, we don't give a fuck. We're selling shit anyways. Shit's still selling regardless. So they're just gonna keep doing it. But I think they could sidestep a lot of that if they just age up the cast characters.
They make everyone college students, and then even though it's still sketchy, it's not as sketchy.
I think it's sketchy enough for the tone. Like, they could always, like, part of me wonders if it's directly the writing that kind of reflects it as being weird now, or if it's like a translation issue, localization issue. But on the other hand, like certain situations, like with your homeroom teacher literally being like your call away maid that makes like weird suggestions all the time to you.
Yeah, that is a culture difference to us. Like that does not exist here whatsoever.
No, and because more I learn, the more like the whole like service pleasure industry like that's really big over there. So
oh yeah, it's fucking huge. There's a running joke, I guess, from a lot of people. Goddamn, a lot of people that half of Japanese industries are just a disguise for a brothel.
But why is their birth rate so low?
They know how to pull out, dude.
Like, isn't their birth rate like so going down?
Yeah, it's
Average
to the
age
point
is
that
going
like
up.
companies actually have like bonuses for
To
employees that
fuck.
have children. But I mean, it's harder to also like have a family when like you're stuck at work because that's what your culture demands.
Yeah, maybe they
So
should do
True.
that. Maybe let your employees
maybe
not
just
be.
fuck at work.
Yeah, maybe let your employees not get burned
Bring your
out
fuck
there.
partner to work day.
Yeah, Jesus
Conjugal visits to work.
Christ.
But yeah, I think a lot of it would be fixed if they just like shifted up like when and how the story takes place. Just don't make them kids, and you can totally write around it, still involve all that. And
I think
just,
you
like,
make the story more
do
interesting
it
too.
smartly. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, 100%. And that's again, that's part of the reason I love especially the duology of Persona 2 is because you're dealing with older individuals in a lot of your party members. But also it's that thing of like the common thing said a lot is like, oh, but we want to have them be high schoolers because then it goes to that kid's demographic. If you make someone 18, make them going straight into college, you'd still hit that same fucking demographic. And then you can go ahead and still have those storylines where if you want them to be a little skeevy, you have them be in the just barely legal category. And then you can tell even more interesting and uncomfortable adult stories with that. There's a lot of things you can do by just fucking aging characters a couple years. Like, goddamn, why is that so hard? 80% of the weirdness in anime and shit would go away if just add
Well,
2 more years
I
to
don't
that.
I don't know about that because there are times where it really creeps me out where it's like the character looks like a 14-year-old, but they're like, well, they're actually 100 years old if you look at the lore.
No, well, that's different though. Like that, they knew that's a nod and a wink. That is
Full on
clearly they're
fan
going for a
service.
specific demographic.
Right, but
Yeah.
I
But
hate
they
that
don't want to
argument
say
too, though,
it.
where I'm like, no, it's a fucking 14-year-old, bro. Like,
It's
Okay,
just a drawing, bro.
visibly make
No,
them older. Give them beards or mustaches or something. Give them a 5 o'clock shadow.
say what you will about Butch Hartman, but the man had a way to go ahead and illustrate that this is a fucking woman,
Yeah.
without going ahead and being like overt and sexual. Give her fucking hips. There you go. Bam. You want to talk about body diversity and character design? Start giving fucking characters hips. God damn. Why is that so hard?
yeah, why are you so hard?
Fucking
The
always.
hips.
That's my secret cat. I'm always
Oh
my
yeah,
hard.
secret
when
cat.
David saw that devil and cow and chicken dude, oh, that was his awakening call.
It was.
The devil.
My
knows
body
cow
was
udders.
Reggie. But yeah, all that to say is I still don't like the game. There are elements I appreciate about it, but those elements are few and far between. And barring anything that would involve a side project of mine, I will never fucking touch this game again. And I don't get why people like it.
Shots fired. Fuck you, Xbox Game Pass.
Hell yeah. Although, actually, no, I lied. I will be touching it again when the answer comes out. But at least that is just a straight up fucking RPG. It doesn't have any of this sim like bullshit.
So really quick, I wanted to interrupt because it's kind of on topic. Warrior64 just tweeted out that we should read reviews really quick on EA Sports or EA College Football 25 for the Xbox Series X because people still don't quite understand the naming conventions of the Xbox.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see. Review as of yesterday. I have an Xbox One X. ... I did research and says the X/S and ones can use Series X games. It doesn't even allow me to play. It says it is not compatible and you can't even return the item because when you open the packaging, it's no good to consider used. ... Waited so long for this game and used to play old ones just to find out I spent $75 on a game I can't play.
There you go, guys. If you want to play that game, hit up Facebook Marketplace. That person will be selling their copy.
This is not a review of the game itself because we couldn't play. Xbox One S (or X) is not equal to Xbox Series S (or X). We bought this thinking S worked, but this was not specific enough research apparently. Our fault, but what an absolutely horrible naming convention, and they don't make it easy to find out the model you have either. They actually do. I disagree with that. I think you should be able to know what you have at this point, but I digress.
And the big thing is like they don't change the boxes up like hardly at all either. They all like look the same. They're all the same green box lined up next to each other. So it's like, what's the difference between this and the other one? From a boomer, older person standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to wish.
I'll never understand their desire to go with weird fucking naming schemes. So just do the tried and true. Just fucking put a number there.
Oh, they did it.
Yeah.
Well, you know originally why they didn't, right?
Yeah, I know for like in terms of the marketing standpoint why they didn't want to do that.
Yeah, well, originally because they didn't want to have Xbox 2 versus PS3 just because numerically it would look like one's superior to the other one. That's why they hopped in there. But then they realized, well, we jumped to that. So what do we do now? Which, ironically, doing Xbox One was the weirdest part. I think they should have just not done that.
They should have called it the 720 after all.
Yeah, you just gotta keep going now.
Yeah. But I like to think that customers should have more should do more research. But that's what I tell you, David. When there's times where you're like, oh, but people do need. I'm like, they're not gonna do that. People are just either not good at research or just lazy, and they will end up getting the wrong thing, unfortunately for them. Anyway, did you play anything else, David?
That day? No, that's all I played.
Okay. Kels, you went through football.
Yeah, a bunch of football. Booted up Street Fighter again. Kind of got the itch to play that more, especially after watching those finals. That was great to watch.
Man, dude.
Yeah. Other than that, no.
So,
Bunch of football, bunch of card games.
how did Street Fighter go? Because I am not with it anymore, dude. I need to grind that all the way back up.
Yeah, it was just pretty much me going to just practice, but just fucking mashing buttons until it kind of starts coming back a little bit. It's like, yeah,
Dude.
I don't know.
I spent so long trying to cancel things into like Spiral Arrow for Cammy, and then I go back and I can't do it anymore. And I'm like, I know I had it. And I could do it at 50% speed. I can do it. I can't do it anymore. So I'm bummed because I'm like, yeah, I definitely need to go back and do all that. But let's talk about Evo really quick while we're here. David,
Hell yeah.
I would love if we were able to like stop the podcast not going 3 hours and at least watch like one set, because grand final specifically for Street Fighter was so fucking good. Like actually, like Tekken and Street Fighter, like all top, they did top 6 instead of top 8.
Yep.
But both of them were bangers, dude. Like it was amazing. Street Fighter had a 17-year-old kid show up in top 8. His
Oh shit.
his highest placing before this was 64th. And it was so wild because for 4th place it was that 17-year-old kid versus Momochi, who was 39 years old.
Holy fuck.
So you're talking like literally like a massive a whole human being age gap, a whole legal.
Old enough to be his father.
Yeah.
Literally.
And they were battling it out, dude. And this kid,
It was a mirror match too. Ed mirror match.
yeah, and it was actually sick. But the kid was in winners going into top 6, and lost to Big Bird. And it was cool because after he lost immediately, he started talking to him like, "Hey," like just like when he started talking, they started talking back and forth. Like, "Oh, he's asking what can I do better?" Okay, cool. Like I love when kids do that. Like, "Hey, what can I do better?" Cool, got it. And the kid, like, I think he was nervous, like going into like winners. He played really bad against Big Bird. Like he got smoked.
that first, he got smoked hard.
Like it was he got thrown 4 times in a row.
Ooh.
Which actually I don't know if that's nerves because the kid cannot tech throws. Maybe that's just nerves in general, but he got thrown so many times, but 4 times in a row. Yeah, so I think that was nerves, but in losers he turned it on. Losers
Yeah,
he was just smoking everyone. Got to that mirror match. He beat Momochi, right?
God damn.
I think he beat Momochi, and then he went to fight
Yeah.
Big Bird again, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
It
so-
was a rematch.
Yeah. So he beat Momochi, went to fight Big Bird, and what was a 3-0 easy win for Big Bird in winners, went to like game 5 last round, I think, if I recall
Yeah.
correctly.
Holy
They
fuck.
won all 5 games. Yeah.
Like you could tell, like Big Bird's like, ooh, I may have given this kid a little bit too much tea because like he's starting to figure it out. But what happens there, I think, is it's the age diff where it's like, yeah, he gave what was his? It was Endwalker, I think was his name.
Indian Walker or something
Yeah.
like
Ender Walker, so yeah, so, and something Walker. But it was like the experience diff where it's like the kid, yeah, he was smoking at the beginning, but then Big Bird's like, all right, let me adapt. Cool, got it, and figured it out towards the end. But it was close. Were you say something?
Oh, I was just about to say, yeah, I just really want to get back in and start playing after watching those. They're so good.
Which
It was
side
really
note?
interesting just to see like what the meta was too for it too, because it was. I'll let you continue, and we can
Well,
talk about that.
I was gonna say just a really quick side tangent was it's fun because during the ad breaks when Chipotle popped up there, just the crowd erupting. You
Yeah,
just hear
because the crowd mics were still on, like the stage mic, so you could hear them just look at their
Chipotle going, you just hear yeah. What was top? It was two Eds.
2 Eds. I forget what Big Bird was playing, and then
Rashid?
Rashid, there we go. And
Cammy.
then Punk was playing Cammy.
Who else?
Was there a Bison? I think there was a Bison.
Bison was there, and then there's one more we're missing.
I think it was another repeat though. I don't think it was like a.
I'm not sure, but that was sick. And then yeah, in Tekken also we only got one repeat too, so it was 5 unique characters in Tekken. Technically it's 6 unique because it went to it went to bracket reset, right? And then and by the way, David, Tekken grand final is Pakistan.
Oh hell yeah.
It was
Well, it was Arslan Ash. He knocked the dude down into losers bracket first, and then the guy just dominated through loser. He literally ran through the losers
Bro,
bracket. There's
there's
one he 3-0'd him quick.
to get into was that losers finals, I think, right?
Yeah, like yeah.
To
I
get
think, I'm pretty
into
sure it
losers
was.
finals, they played, and dude beat him so bad. He got up, looked at the crowd, and was just like, had his
Yeah,
arms out, shrugging, like, what the fuck was that? Like, it was that was like the biggest dominant match I've seen, I think, out of both games.
Yeah, no, that was like you watch and you're like, damn, I could beat that guy. He made it look that easy.
Right.
But yeah, no, that finals match between them. What was his first name? Was it Ating or
Atif butt.
yeah,
Atif butt.
That match was so good because okay, so what's that? That was the best out of 5, right?
Yes.
Or what was that? Because I forget because he swapped characters. That was the big thing for that one. He
So
swapped
yeah,
between matches.
he did good the first one, and then like 2 games into set
It was
2.
Drag versus what was Arslan playing again? Nina.
Nina. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Drag like ran the tournament. I guess I think they said like most of the top 6 was Drag besides Arslan.
Yeah. Dragunov hits like a fucking truck, dude. You miss one, if you miss space one thing or miss one thing, David, Dragunov takes half your health, like easy.
I feel like that's just Tekken 8 in general.
No. So Arslan played Pokey, like their games. That one game in that went to literally last second.
Yeah.
Our games when we go Unga Bunga aggression, will go in 10 seconds. That does not happen in pro play apparently.
Yeah, it's so crazy to watch that Poke game, especially with characters that you wouldn't quite expect. Like whenever I'm thinking Pokey and Tekken, I'm thinking like someone playing Hurong or something. But he was playing Nina, just getting up in their fucking face, just poking at him.
Right, and
It
so
was really crazy to watch because his side steps were on point. Because that's really what you have to do to be able to do that.
yeah, so he was getting close because that means Drag couldn't get his launchers off. And so Arslan lost set 1, so they go to set 2, and Arslan kind of got the download there, so he wins the first 2, and it was still close though, but he won the first 2, and then Atif swapped to Fang, and switched things up a bit, and just dominated that game 3. But then I don't know. I think game 4, I think Arslan had the download by that next game and was able to turn back around and take the W on that.
Yeah, like you said, he should have swapped back to drag and made him change back.
I think I think the move was at that point. If I was coaching, and don't put me in as a Tekken coach, right? But I think the mental game would have been, because I think I kind of called what happened was, Fang threw Arslan Ash off enough that he was able to get a quick win. Like, all right, cool. I think that would have been the reset of the mental. I think that would have been the reset of the reads. Because I think what happened is when you got Arslan Ash like thinking, all right, he's now turned his brain on to Fang mode. Because the beginning of game 4, like the very beginning of game 4, Fang kind of hopped off for a bit. He got the first couple of hits in.
Yeah.
And then momentum shifted completely after that. I would have been like, all right, you got your win as Fang, come back to drag, and let's see if that works now. Because I think now we shook Arslan Ash off of all right, understand drag. All right, now I'm gonna start trying to get the Fang read. All right, no, go back to Dragunov. Because I think Arslan Ash kind of he went so like double down on Fang reading at that point that he had to win on that.
It was funny too because the commentary leading up to it was making that call, but the opposite direction. They were saying Arslan should swap, or he sometimes likes to swap off to throw like a different look at him to fuck with him a little bit, because they're both dudes that train together, being from the same region, and
Right.
they have like that main game hub that they all go to practice at. And it's really funny to see it happen, but the other direction.
Right. And so that was hype. And then David, grand finals of Street Fighter 6 was fucking nuts. Oh wait, really quick. We should have mentioned that there was a moment in was it Street Fighter or no, it was Street Fighter, right, where the stick went bad.
Yep, it was Street Fighter.
Oh man, I hate when that happens.
And I forget what his name. Who was he? Was fighting Momochi. I forget.
Nemo.
What was it?
Nemo.
Oh yeah.
Nemo.
Yeah, his stick didn't work. So for the next 15 minutes, he kept plugging in different sticks to see what would work.
They literally like busted a fresh Victrix out of a box for him, and he's like, no, and like waved it off.
That's fucking wild.
And then finally they set him up, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, he better win one game, and just got smoked that next one.
Yeah, it just got fucking wiped.
I'm at least glad that they gave him the chance to try different sticks. I remember that happening a few
for
years
sure.
back, and like no one would give the poor bastard a stick.
Oh yeah, well,
And I'm like, what the fuck? That's
That's so
bullshit.
sad.
Someone, there's a sea of people out there that could give this man a stick. What the fuck?
right. But Street Fighter 6 Grand Finals popped the fuck off. Like it was like they were both
Yeah,
friends.
it made me want to get back to playing.
That's
how hard it
yeah,
fucking
dude.
was.
Really, like, and they're friends. Like they like it was Punk versus Big Bird, so Rashid versus Cammy, and Punk won 3-0 in winners in that matchup. But it was like 3-0, but it was not close. It was 3-0, but like that was a banger. Like it was close.
Yeah, all good games.
And
then this one went to reset, didn't it?
this one went
He-
reset. It was Big Bird won 3-0, and then it went to game 5, match 5. Last match on there, and it was back and forth. David, it was so fucking sick. It was like
The crowd
second
was hyped too. I was really hyped for how loud the crowd was getting.
they were sleeping after the reset, which was unfortunate. But like the last set was like it was so fire. It was like no one had the momentum more than one round. Punk hit him with a perfect, and like it's like, oh, Punk's on fire. Punk's feeling it. Like you could tell, like that man just swept it. Round 2, Big Bird hit him with a perfect back, and it was like, all right, round 3, it was like last hit, and we're talking like sometimes there were matches where they lived with like a sliver of health, like their level 1 or
Yeah.
2 just didn't kill.
Like 1% health, yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it was sick though. If you want to watch matches, I'm down, but like I highly recommend you watch them. They're so sick.
No, I intend to watch them. Just it's been an eventful fucking last few days.
No, I believe it. Just know that you got some evil goodies to go back to, because
Yeah, and even MK was really good too. I caught a few of the Strive matches, but I just have no clue what's going on during Strive, so
That's
I
fine.
can't
No one
keep up
in
with it.
Strive does either. So
Yeah. But the MK ones were really good, and I'm not even hype on the game this year, but It's always a really fun game just to watch professional play, at least. And watching someone like Sonic Fox do it over LAN, that's insane. That dude is magic on the sticks.
Oof.
Absolutely incredible. Just watch the reads that he's able to make in real time, and just the general awareness that he has of like all the different matchups and shit. So cool.
Um,
Oh yeah, I definitely like seeing him in matches. He's one of the few players that made me kind of care about watching competitive MK.
Yeah,
I like
for
his stuff
sure.
there.
David, what do you think of the Evo reveals?
So there were some fun fucking reveals. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know enough about Under Night to care with that. Same with Grand Blue. Shout out to those that care about multiverses. Samurai Jack is a great option to add into
And
there.
it's Bill Lamar voicing too, so
Ooh, good shit. Don't care about Fatal Fury by itself. Same with King of Fighters. Don't really care about it. Although I have to add a caveat because shout outs to Street Fighter 6. So when this was announced, I saw this happen. I'm like, we're gonna get SCVs. It's gonna happen. But for Street Fighter 6, we got Terry and Mai crossover DLC, which fucking A right. All right. I'm excited for that. That's kind of neat.
be really interesting now if Tekken got Terry as a guest character in like Fighter Pass 2 or something.
I just
Fuck
put
it,
Terry
Terry's everywhere.
being the one to go around everywhere. That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Um,
And we need another boxing dude. Someone
It's
that's
true.
fisticuffs.
I'll save that one for last because I have a lot of thoughts on that one.
I already know which one he's talking about too.
But we did ultimately get SVC. It's not what I hoped for. I was hoping for a brand new game. But I'll take this as well. This is also a good choice. SVC Chaos, which had a very limited run in the US.
So
It was only for the
what's so
Neo
special
Geo
about
and
it?
Xbox.
I'm not caught up on the lore. What's special about Chaos, or is there anything that makes it different?
Chaos was kind of one of the ones that was a very limited run of these SNK versus Capcom. But generally speaking, it also was the one to tap into a lot more of both franchises, more obscure characters. So like on the Capcom side, they had the witch from Puzzle Fighter in there. SNK had like some of the aliens from Metal Slug in there. So it had one of the most unique rosters and just kind of was a lot more bombastic. It also was known for, if I remember correctly, having easier controls to regular SNK versus Capcom. Here's hoping that maybe we'll at least get SNK versus Capcom 2, the fucking gold standard of non-Marvel crossovers.
It was so weird. The other day, I was trying to explain to my friend that's our age, like what SNK is, and he had like no clue what I was talking about.
That's sad.
It's like, wow, it's a big hole in your purview there.
I think it's
I was
understandable.
like, Metal
though.
Slug. Do you
I
not
can see
know
someone
Metal
kind of.
Slug at least?
It sucks they don't have that, but I can understand them not having it though.
I guess if you didn't get into the arcades, that's a name that could easily escape you, to be fair.
For sure.
I also forgot about this. Shout outs to Hunter x Hunter fans. Your fighting game looks fine. I wish I could get into Hunter x Hunter. A lot of people say it's better than Yu Hakusho. People are wrong. But I can appreciate the people wanting a newer series than Yu Hakusho.
Isn't like one
I
of the
still
main
think,
villains of Hunter x Hunter a literal pedophile?
yeah,
Like, he's like attracted to like their power or something like that.
yeah, but he gets like really obsessive about Gun in particular. So yeah.
Sick
And
anime.
Also, shout out to fucking Guilty Gear. So we got the next season announcement. We got what I would have expected, honestly. We got Dizzy. Dizzy is back. I love her fucking updated design. It looks so slick. We got a character I was not expecting to get returned to Guilty Gear, considering the just anti-spacing nature of Strive, and how much more rushdown and just a more immediate risk reward that Strive is. We got Venom back. Fucking shout outs. Venom. Really good to see him. I just hope that his kit doesn't get gutted because Venom's playstyle is not one that's conducive to Strive. And we've already seen characters like Sin get their movesets heavily altered for Strive. And Venom's playstyle was so distinct and unique that I would hate to see it oversimplified to fit in Strive. But then we got a crossover character. One I certainly didn't fucking expect to see. One I never would have expected or ever thought of or would have ever asked for. And that's Cyberpunk Edgerunners Lucy.
It blows my mind that they went with Lucy over David too, because David had
David's
like
right
powers.
here. That's why.
That's true. Dave can't debut just yet.
Although part of me also is like, okay, of course they went with the waifu over the Mexican that can slow down time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, his power wouldn't be that special in Guilty Gear. Everyone could do that.
That's true.
That's just a basic combo extension in Guilty Gear.
I think at this point I need to just hop into Guilty Gear because like it looks so cool. I've just not played it.
I have loved Guilty Gear forever. I've never been good at it, but it's been one of those fighting games that I don't give a fuck if I'm good or not. I vibe with it so much. I can't get into Strive. It's nothing like the rest of the series.
You have it though, right?
And yeah, I have it.
We need to just because I'm thinking I'm contemplating it. Maybe next paycheck I go in on Grand Blue and Guilty Gear and we start doing these fighting game streams.
No.
Come on, David.
I don't have
Street
time.
Fighter and Tekken, dog.
What do you mean you don't have time for fighting games? You always have time for fighting games.
No.
He's being modest.
It's honestly been like low-key really nice getting things out of my backlog. Like as much as I've only gotten five games out of my backlog this year because I've only played RPGs.
I know. See, you're like me.
So nice.
You're like me, and I know you're saying no, not because you don't want to, but because you know that like fuck, there goes one whole night to knock out some game. But I'm telling you, David, imagine that we get some of the boys in, do a lobby, get some pizzas, and have that virtual fighting game night.
I think that tell you what,
if pies while watching Evo the other night, fuck
dude, that was the time, dude.
You know what? Fuck it. If we can get like an actual like rotation of like a small crew, fine. Fuck it. If we got enough people where there's some variety,
how many people?
Fine. Well, at least 4. I think 4 would be a good number.
Find one more person.
Yeah, so go find one more person and sure.
Hey, Pepperoni, go buy a game.
Hey, you want to beat my ass at Guilty Gear? Now's your chance.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Also, I will say, I'm excited to see the 3v3 mode.
Yeah, that looks interesting. Although tag modes have never really resonated with me outside of Tekken. So I mean, either way, it's something new. So it's something that looks interesting.
That's fair. Well, we're down to the last announcement, which Adrian had left for.
Well, what about 2XKO'd? Did you see wasn't it, I think Braum got announced, and I think there was like a release date or something for it.
Oh, it's not even in this like announcement list that I'm looking at from Polygon. Polygon did not give a fuck about it, and neither do I. Yeah, so Braun Strowman was shown off. Well, what did the Monster of Monsters say the release date was?
I think it was more like, I don't think it's like a release date. I think they're doing like the whole how the fuck do I even look this up? I put in 2XKO and it's not Google's not good. Oh, there it goes.
Also, shout out to Braun Strowman. I hope the man gets a speedy recovery. Apparently, he's got a really fucked up knee right now, which is unfortunate because I would like to see him kind of get weaved back into the Wyatt 6 stuff going on.
Shout out to Riot for making a game with the dumbest fucking name imaginable.
Agreed.
God damn it.
Also, I guess I'm just going to keep on the wrestling talk real quick while you're doing that. We got SummerSlam here in a little bit. I think it's next weekend, not this weekend. I'm excited for that. I'll probably I've been following the storyline still, but I haven't been actively watching. I'm excited to finally see the Rhea versus Liv Morgan match. Excited for that. I'm sad to see Sammy. I know he's gonna drop his title to Braun Breaker, because I feel like they're gonna tie him back into the bloodline shit that's been rebuilding. Um, also, I'm cautious. I kind of want to be excited to finally see the payoff for the build up to Drew versus CM Punk, because considering neither of them have had a match in half a year with each other, and the entire feud, one or the other has spent time being injured, they've done an amazing job of building up this feud. But now I'm so worried with how much they both have been getting injured that I'm like, I don't want them to one or both be injured in this fucking match.
So like I'm not like caught up on it or in the know, but how does it make you feel that they're carrying on all the storylines and stuff with Bray Wyatt's like overall overarching story? Is it, and do you think they're doing it in a positive way, or do you think it's kind of like aping off of something good that he already had going? Or
I mean, I am cautiously optimistic for it so far. I mean, even Bray Wyatt, let's be honest, was mishandled so fucking bad. Especially the three biggest things I'll never fucking forgive. One, the biggest gravest sin was the fucking disqualification in the Hell in the Cell match against Seth Rollins. Because one, you had a disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match, but then two, you also buried your unstoppable fucking monster by having him beat so bad in Hell in the Cell that Seth Rollins had to be disqualified. Imagine in the 90s, fucking Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker.
right?
If in their Hell in a Cell match, Shawn Michaels was disqualified for beating the Undertaker too badly. Fuck off. Two, they dropped the ball a lot with Bray stuff, especially with the attempted build up to reintroducing Uncle Howdy in the Firefly Funhouse match. I still think the rivalry with LA Knight was a weird time waste. However, especially considering everything that happened, the imagery of all the Fireflies during that match, as stupid and shit as it was, tied to being a Mountain Dew promotion. That was a very sentimental thing in retrospect. But I think they're doing okay with it. Bo Dallas is helping to write a lot of it. So I mean, if you can't trust the guy's brother, who the fuck are you gonna trust to go ahead and do it?
Right.
They started off really strong. They had a lot of really fun, interesting ARG elements kind of building up to it. They had a lot of really good deep cuts by having like this kind of recurring segments of this therapist conducting therapy sessions with characters and having like newspaper clippings that referred back to older characters back during the Eater of Worlds gimmick and the Wyatt family and all that. And there's a lot of really good elements to it. The only problem is we're in an era now where Triple H loves the long-term booking. He wants a story to go on for like not just months, but he wants it to go like a year plus for a lot of his storylines. And because of that, the Wyatt Six stuff is already starting to get a little stale. It's been going on for like 2-3 months now, and we still haven't had a match. In fact, we just had the first official move last night on Raw, where Uncle Howdy, I got teared up seeing the clip of it. Gave Chad Gable the Sister Abigail, and then oh man, that hurt a little bit to see that move again. But so we're building to a match that for SummerSlam, where it looks like we're gonna have a 3v3 with three members of the Wyatt Six versus Chad Gable and his new peons that he has. And that's gonna be the real test is okay. I like the storyline. It's dragging a little bit though. It's time to start seeing some in-ring work. And no shade to a lot of the members in the group. many of them are not the greatest performers. They're not bad. They're good, but I feel like Bray, when he was allowed to cook, was phenomenal at in-ring storytelling. And Alexa Bliss is coming back. Who knows? It's not confirmed she's going to get looped back into this stuff or not. Because before she left for her pregnancy, she was starting to do her own kind of Eater of Worlds kind of side gimmick as well. But there's just a lot of stuff with it that I'm cautiously optimistic, but I feel like the creative lead at the helm now is trying to drag it out for far longer than some of the storylines should be dragged out for.
Yeah, and that's one of those big issues of like the ensemble stuff, right? Is like
Yeah.
sometimes you'll just have the people that just like can't pull off the role or kind of there because they were told to put on the get up and either this or you're not getting booked. But yeah, 2, 3 months without an actual match, that's rough. There's only so much like posturing you can do, right?
And which again, it makes me all that much more like amazed that fucking Drew versus CM Punk has done so well with the build up, because for 6 months they haven't had a match. And they've taken turns being injured. But no, so there's a lot of interesting build up. It also looks like we're building finally to Gunther getting a big title. He's been doing a lot of promos about now that he's brought so much prestige to the Intercontinental title. He wants to bring prestige to the heavyweight title. And he fucking buried Seth. He buried fucking Drew. He buried Damian Priest. It's just hilarious how much shit he's been slinging. And he's just so good at playing that smarmy. No, like, I'm a bastard, but I'm a bastard with integrity. I'm going to be the best bastard and show some fucking prestige to this shit. And I don't know. I fucking love Gunther's in-ring work. The dude is a beast. Still to this day, one of my favorite fucking matches was that WrestleMania 39 triple threat with him, Drew, and Sheamus. That was a fucking brawl. Holy fuck.
It's funny, I don't get them a whole lot in like my algo on YouTube, but for some reason Gunther's chops made it into like a compilation of his chops made it into my algo, and I watched like a solid like 10-minute video just him chopping people.
Dude, that man is beastly. Oh, there are a few things in this world I truly fear. I would not want to get fucking chopped by that man. Fuck that. That man put some fucking stank on it.
It's like, bro, not that hard. You didn't have to.
Fucking especially like that's honestly a good fucking thing is if you look up the WrestleMania 39 triple threat match, fucking everyone is bleeding from their chests. They have literally been chopped open. Like, that's fucking wild. Yeah, I think that's it for the wrestling tangent for most part. Yeah, no, I think that's about it. 'Cause I don't remember what the fuck else is going on the card really at this point. I know Cody Rhodes is existing. I don't.
lot with that story.
I mean, that's kind of the unfortunate thing, and there's a lot of truth to it. In that there's more interest in the chase for a title than there is in the title reign itself.
Yeah.
For a face, when you're a villain, there's a lot of fun, interesting things you can do as a title holder, but as a face, not so much. And it's not helped by the fact that you there's the question of who's he going to drop it to ultimately.
Yeah, that too. Because with all the build up to it, like anything less is gonna feel like a lot less.
Because I'm trying to think. So we already have Gunther saying he's going for the heavyweight title, not the universal title. So we're not going to get Gunther versus Cody, which honestly I would have. I fucking love that match. That sounds amazing. I'll gladly take that. But it's also one of those things that it's like, if we're not getting that, well, I mean, Roman will probably be back eventually for the rest of the Bloodline storyline stuff that's going on. But who else is really built up at this point to take the title from Cody?
Time for an injury, Cody. You gotta drop
Yeah,
the
I don't
belt.
know. They've kind of written themselves into a little bit of a corner because they've not been doing a good job of building a lot of other people up. Like, and look, like, not helped also by the fact that they have so many other long form stories in the fire that it's just kind of like, well, oh, the Judgment Day is involved with all this other shit going on. Sol Sokola is now running the Bloodline. We have Alpha Academy split up. New Day still kind of exists, I guess. Question mark. Marlo Hayes just came up to the main roster. Yeah, I don't. Ron Breaker obviously is going to get the Intercontinental title, so it'll be a while before he gets to the. No, not a while. I could see him in a year going for one of the top prizes. The man is a beast. He definitely lives up to that Steiner lineage. God damn. I do think it's. I know a lot of people give him shit for not using Steiner, including Scott Steiner. I've seen Scott Steiner go off on him not using the Steiner name, but honestly, I think that's kind of the best. You know, especially because Scott Steiner is a mixed bag of a human being.
Yeah.
There's a lot you may not necessarily want to be associated with in regards to that. But
On the other hand, though, it is a character overall that you're playing, and I don't think most wrestling fans are going to give a fuck, right? They're just going to know fucking Big Papa Pump.
I mean, that's fair, considering most wrestling fans still defend Hulk Hogan and his bullshit.
Right, exactly.
Which,
Precisely.
shout out to that Republican event where 3 of the people on stage have been the recipients of a Stone Cold Stunner. As Hulk Hogan, fucking Miss McMahon there, and Trump. That's right. All of them were obviously at that conference, all recipients of a stunner. Meanwhile, there's Austin living his best life being a cat dad. Shout outs to all those videos.
Yeah. Goddamn, Hogan still knows how to rip a shirt off, though. I tell you what.
I mean, that's the one thing he knows. Well, I mean, he knows how to do 3 things. He knows how to rip his shirt off. He knows how to say that doesn't work for me, brother. And he certainly knows how to use the N-word. So
Yeah.
he is a big fan of the hard R.
The biggest, some might say.
Yes.
God damn it. I seen a quote recently. It was from Andre the Giant, just him shitting on
Hell
Hogan,
yeah.
and it made me happy, especially because it was recently after all the shit that's been going on here recently. It's like, you know what? He knew from the very start.
Also, shout outs to everyone using the gifs of him spelling out NWO, and you just get to the N and then what looks like an I. Glad to see that making the rounds again.
Oh god, he's back with a new shirt.
Speaking of being back, for our final reveal for Evo, I got a lot of mixed feelings on this one. The unkillable battleship, the unsinkable Messiah, Hayashi has returned, younger than ever.
Yeah, that's what first thing I pointed out to Adrian as well. Like, oh no, they made him hot.
Yeah. So,
he hasn't been this hot since fucking
Tekken Tag
PlayStation
2.
All-Stars.
Tekken Tag 2.
They gave him the Steve Harvey stash. What happened?
So I'm happy about it. I wonder how the fan base is taking it, that the first season pass is just old characters, you know?
I mean, I feel like that's what most people want out of Tekken because they got such a deep roster. But Hayashi should fucking stay dead. I said this during Street Fighter. I'm gonna say it here now. fucking be okay killing off your goddamn characters and letting them fucking stay dead. We don't need Hayachi anymore. We don't need Bison anymore. Move the fuck on.
I
Jesus Christ.
I understand though, like from a gameplay aspect though, right? Like think about just like not even just like character wise, from a gameplay aspect, it sucks that like one whole character archetype goes away, right? Like it's like anyone that's ever played the Heihachi character archetype, because of story elements, you're no longer allowed to play that character, which I think from that aspect, it is tougher.
This is where like I'm in the middle here. I'm like, I want these characters back, but I'm with David. Like, let's move past them. I wish they could bring them back in a way that wasn't trying to like wrap them so hard into the story, you know? Because like everything from that Heihachi trailer really looked like they're trying to, like an expansion of the story.
If they were
essentially.
willing
Yeah.
to be like, Heihachi's still dead, but this is like a flashback,
Like
where-
what they did with Tekken Tag Tournament, where like half the characters are non-canon.
Yeah,
They're just
sure.
like, oh no, they're fucking here. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Now,
This
yes,
is-
I agree. I think they should just do that, and make it something like that. Or I always thought I think what would have been better was just like make Kuma have the Heihachi moveset, and then
That's
become-
what I thought they were doing originally. I
I-
thought Panda would get like a Xiaoyu moveset, and then like Kuma would get the Heihachi lightnings and shit like
right.
that.
That would have been sick, but it is what it is. I do feel a little part like a larger part of me is a little like bummed out about that, but I will say like that just means Tekken 9 is gonna have the literally the most wacky, crazy, over the top story thus far, especially when you beat the story mode now and you're like, oh, this is where we're going with this.
Part of me hopes that that means that they're gonna bring back like Ogre or like some bigger, like crazier, because they really toned down a lot of that. I feel like here recently, like we have Devil and Angel Jin.
Right.
Spoiler alerts. We have
Yeah.
Devil Kazuya, Devil Jin, but we also have Angel Jin.
We're,
so
we're
we're-
missing the genocide. We don't have enough genocide going on right
and,
now.
and I will say,
Well, I mean, we dropped a meteor from orbit, and that probably did irreversible damage.
right, and
somewhere.
and I will say, playing Tekken 8, you definitely feel the gap of no Heihachi. Like you could feel it throughout the story, but the story person in
Lars,
me,
they were fucking leaning towards Lars take it over like that.
oh, that
Yeah.
was so
There, too.
sick.
Like
That was
why
so
they-
sick.
Yeah, Hayachi coming back as like a story piece, I feel like definitely undercuts a whole lot.
I'm hoping
You're
they make up
undercutting
for it. I hope
Reina,
it's
you're
not.
undercutting
I'm hoping
Lars.
it thematically it better mean something.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it splits me in half. But we can complain or not complain all we want. He's coming back.
Yeah.
I still think the
He
trailer
better
was
be
sick
fun.
though.
Oh yeah,
Trailer-
yeah. I love. I want to say homage because it was straight up clips from the old games. It was really cool to like look back on that.
So I feel like with this Fire Pass, it's like the old fan favorites are back.
Yeah, but you're paying extra for them.
Right. But with that said, who's our closer? Armor King?
It has to be
Mokujin.
Gone?
If- Roger Jr.
I think
But I would
yeah, you would. I know you would.
I would lose it if Roger Jr. was
I'm
back.
with Kels. I think Armor King would be sick.
I think that's what they do. I think this one's gonna be all fighters that you know and love, plus Lydia, because I think
Everyone you love, plus Lydia.
well, because I think Lydia's whole thing was she was the last one released for 7, and she was technically a fighter that was in development for 8, but they
Yeah.
pushed out early. So I think that's the whole kind of thinking here. They're like, all right, she was supposed to be here anyway, so let's throw her.
Plus,
in."
honestly, she took off a lot with the fans
Yeah.
in Tekken 7.
For sure, she's the Polish prime minister.
So
Everyone loves a muscle mommy. So
what do you think, David? Who do you think your last bet for season 1 is gonna be?
My heart says Roger Jr. But I feel like I feel like we are going to get a wrestler, so I do think it'll either be Marduk or it'll be Armor King.
I
Yeah,
think
Marduk.
I actually I would love for it to be Robert Jr.'s because I would love for the opening the main menu screen for it to be a close up on Roger Jr.'s face every time you load up Tekken.
Yeah, I forgot they do that with the
Yeah,
new
so like it
characters.
updated now. So you see Lydia up there now, but it'd be so funny you just see just Roger Jr.'s face just every time you load up the game for the next 3 months.
Oh god, Heihachi's new mustache is gonna jump scare us next.
Yeah.
I forgot
They
about
said they
that.
have a way. They're gonna rotate that eventually. They're working on a way to
Mhm.
make that so you can do whoever you want. I think too. Do you think they'll do guest characters in Tekken 8? Yeah, 100 billion%. There's gonna be.
100%. There's no way they don't.
I think they sold the best, which is confusing as to why that wouldn't have why they wouldn't do a guest character in the first season. But I think they really want to be tried and true with the story. So I guess that would muddy up the guest characters. Or they could make who would be a good returning character? Akuma. Just fuck that shit up again too. Raptor Heihachi Akuma's back from ditch. I said
Well, 'cause,
stay dead.
Like even in Heihachi's trailer, I feel like Lydia was in that one as well. That's what that kind of jumped out at me. That was like kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's another DLC character in his trailer as well. So I feel like this. You're right. I feel like this season pass might have something to do with like the overall story, as not just like here's random characters we're throwing in. You know,
I don't think after the season, I don't think it's gonna be more story. I think
I'm
This-
thinking so too.
this is gonna be just an extension of the story. And after this, then you'll get the wacky characters that aren't gonna fit in the story whatsoever, but they'll be just there. Which would mean sick
God.
that Armor King is in the story.
Yeah. Oh. Armor King 4 now? Or are we
Yeah.
still, I think we're at 3. And if
I
they do a new
think
one-
something happened to 3. He hasn't been seen on camera in a while.
Deep lore there.
So,
David, do you think Negan will return?
Oh my fuck.
God, I hope.
No, but not this will. Never forget.
I think they're gonna. I don't know if we've talked about it before, but I definitely feel like they'll do another Final Fantasy character. There's no way they don't. They already opened that fucking Pandora's box.
I want Snake, dude.
Oh fuck yeah!
Ever since I was at Evo, where every one of us just got like,
Kiryu.
Yeah, for sure. Kiryu or Majima.
you probably do Majima now.
Yeah, Majima would fit better in Tekken, but either way, we need Yakuza representation.
100%.
Oh, anyway,
Oh, we could have a Negan type character. We just need to do Ichiban with his bat.
Right.
Bam.
Just copy the move set on over.
weren't
Yeah,
they
we're
thinking
good.
of putting Morgan in one of the Tekken games as a pepperoni? I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I mean, they
Uh,
had Eliza, which was Morgan-esque, but actually,
Yeah.
she might be a character I could see return again.
So
But I think she'll fall into that same category as Anna, where she's just always DLC.
Yikes.
where were we at with all this then? So, do we have any more announcements?
That's all of Evo.
Yep, all of Evo.
Okay, so then that was Kel's talking about what he was playing. Was there anything else you want to add on that?
Nah.
Game wise, what have I been doing?
Your best.
Yeah,
That's all we can ask for.
I really want to get into a Pokemon game for some reason. I haven't itched to play one of those randomly, but I don't want to just stop Paper Mario halfway through again. Decisions. Yeah. Was there any news that happened this week? Well, there's a lot of news that happened.
Yeah,
this
there's,
week.
Oof.
David,
there's
talk
been
about
a
your
bunch of stuff to
talk about your funny IT ha-has.
Well, we'll get to that in the second, because I want to start with a downer. As of last night, it's basically confirmed
Oh.
that Humble Games Studio is dead.
Yeah. What's gonna happen with that now?
I seen they also tried to do like some damage control, and they mentioned that current projects are ongoing still. I don't know.
I mean, that's
like-
hard considering their whole team's laid off.
Right? Yeah, that's what it's kind of like. It sounds like you're just talking a whole bunch of bullshit here, buddy.
Yeah, so I have the thread pulled up here. So we got one poster, Emily Kiefer, who was a
Oh.
senior QA at Humble Bundle. Another year, another layoff. Today is my entire team's last day at Humble Games. The team was genuinely the best. Which then goes on to other people from Humble Games, basically confirming that the whole studio at this point has been laid off.
So does that mean Humble's gonna be in limbo now, or does that mean specifically just the publishing side of it?
Just the
Just the
publishing
publishing
side.
side.
That sucks. They had some solid games, but none of them ever quite stuck as much as like some Annapurna stuff.
You know, it's frustrating because they easily could be that level. One of the things I've been slowly doing is I finally found a good download manager for my home server called GameyFin. If anyone else is looking for an option like this, so that way I can take all my DRM free copies of games and just have them on my server, and from any computer in my home, just go ahead, download the installer, set it up. Bam, perfect, flawless, I love it. And then I realized that, oh wait, the Humble Bundle for a lot of games, not all of them, but for a lot of games, you get a DRM free copy of with every purchase. So I've been going through, and I got like hundreds to fucking go through and download and throw on the server. And then there's so many games that I forgot I had because they were only ever part of the Humble. Fuck, but they had a special name for it, but like the Humble freebies or something like that, where it was the Humble Trove. There we go, that's what it was. Where it was their distinct published games that you would get for free for having a Humble subscription. And I have all those, and I honestly forgot I even had them. And looking through them, they seem like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but like a lot of them just seem like game jam games where it's like, yeah, they have like an idea and they just made the idea and that's kind of it.
Sure.
Not a whole lot of substance to it, and it's like, it's all the money you pull in from fucking Humble Bundle, especially now that you also have a storefront and do regular sales and shit. You'd think you'd be able to do more than game jam games, and again, not to say that in a negative way necessarily. It's insane what some people are able to do in 24 hours to make a fucking game from scratch, but I kind of expect more from when you're doing an actual studio yourself.
Sure. Well, is a studio or publishing firm?
Both.
Yeah, no, I agree with that with the if it's a developer side of it. It sucks. I don't know what else to say on that. Like, I stand with what I said. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of the Humble games, and they were like they've never been something that like stood out to me like, oh, this is amazing. They never had like that incredible banger. They've just been kind of cute games that just never quite stuck.
No, and I feel like even in the indie scene, which the indie scene does a lot to like really prop up and get titles to kind of get some recognition. Looking through their Trove catalog, I've seen fuck all I've seen anyone in the indie scene really talk about.
No, like I feel like,
and when you can't get the indie scene to care, that feels like a big indictment on what you've produced.
they've the Humble published games have been, if you put like games like Hades or Celeste on like a triple A in terms of indie style like stature, I'd say like the best Humble games have gotten double A. Never anything that I've like been super enthralled by. Like I'm trying to think of some on top of my head. There's that one Ink something game, I forget what it's called. The
Oh, the Ink Machine one or whatever it is.
no. I keep wanting to think. I keep mixing up with like Pentiment or something. It's like Ink something though.
Oh, Inquisition.
Something like that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was like I think was it the Hookshaw puppy game where you were doing a hook claw. I don't know. Like I said, like none of them stuck out to me, which is an unfortunate thing. Whereas like other games like from other publishers, like I mean, Annapurna is my kind of my default on there. Uh, really stuck out in a lot of those, so it's unfortunate, but I mean, just more layoffs, I guess.
Sad day. But yeah, no. Speaking of sad days, let's talk about CrowdStrike. So real quick, I'm curious: were you Lentilman impacted by CrowdStrike?
Not whatsoever.
So we weren't directly impacted by it at my work because we don't use that shit. My boss and I are fervent anti anything that runs at root level unless it absolutely needs to. And by that, I mean it's something we built. So we didn't have CrowdStrike set up. However, many organizations, including Microsoft, did. And so many Microsoft services were intermittent. Many flights. Shout out to Southwest, who still runs on Windows 3.1 for their shit.
As of yesterday, I mean, what was it? Harada got stuck in Vegas. A lot of people in Evo got stuck.
Yeah.
Harada got stuck in Vegas. That he ended up booking a 4.5 hour Uber to Los Angeles.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
That's gotta be such a miserable Uber ride. Holy fuck.
Well, actually, fuck that. I'd be fucking ecstatic.
I mean, like for Harada, that must be like the driver. I imagine got a fucking fat payday. Like,
yeah, but man, imagine if it was like you're driving Uber and Harada's like, hey, drive me 5 hours. Say less. I think remember Jeff Mendocino, David? He's still. I think he was stuck in Vegas as of yesterday.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that fucked over a lot of flights. I think it caused like $1 billion worth of damage.
Yeah, hospitals were also impacted.
Did anyone die legitimately? Is that a thing?
I don't think anyone did. At least there's no reports of it. But truly, like 50% of the computing world was impacted by this shit. Shout outs to CrowdStrike, who I think it was confirmed that they pushed it out because they don't do QA testing. They just, as soon as the update is done, they just push it out. Bravo. Also, shout outs to any fucking program that has the audacity to not give you the option to prevent auto updating, which CrowdStrike does. There is no let me update manually. It's just, nope, here's an update, push it out.
That means, right, if anyone... yeah, that was why people got their flights got issues. Anyone who isn't this the workaround that people that like particularly like in big companies, software engineers have to go through every single computer and redo it now.
Microsoft at one point was like, sometimes if you just reboot the computer 15 times in a row, it'll just error out and just continue on. But alternatively, yes, you basically had to get into safe mode and manually undo the update. It was so bad that at one point, Microsoft released their own USB to fix the CrowdStrike issue.
Who does that fall under for damages? Is that just strictly CrowdStrike?
That's strictly CrowdStrike.
So they're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, what's been the damage on them? Like, I imagine, like, yeah, they've had a lot of business.
No one in the IT space fucking trusts them anymore now.
Yeah, so like they had not a monopoly, but like something huge of a market share on that, right?
Again, it was like 50% of like all major corporations were using CrowdStrike.
And now
now probably not. Now probably fucking not. At least I would hope that any of them would learn not to use that at this fucking point. But yeah, that's a fucking lesson to be learned when it comes to shit like this. That it has always been my philosophy of IT. I've preached it a lot in this fucking podcast. Nothing should ever have beyond admin level access to your devices. Anything that requires running at root level or requires being run at BIOS level can fuck right off. If you are that fucking lazy that you need to go ahead and have some kind of automated tool to manage your processes. Maybe to be fair, you're got like 1,000+ endpoints that you need to work and contend with. Fine. But there's old tried and true ways of taking care of a lot of things. There's Wussys, there's Puppet, there's Ansible. There's so many other things out there that don't require the same level of getting a hold and controlling your machine that fucking CrowdStrike does. Which, fucking hell. Also, let this be a lesson to any sysadmins that would also even allow a software that doesn't give you update management and just forces updates as soon as they're done. That's what you fucking deserve. Like, straight up, fuck off. I have a lot of strong thoughts and opinions on that. But truly, at the end of the day, some companies got what they deserve, and it sucks because it impacted a lot of people. But hopefully, some people learn some fucking lessons here.
Dude, I'm still imagining people are still reeling from that, right, and still fixing their computers. I want to know how that's happening in major, especially imagine companies that are remote accessed.
The way I have been hearing from my friends that have been having to deal with that is it's very much just been they did the Windows suggested trick originally, where they're like, I don't know, try rebooting it like 15 times and see if it snaps itself out.
Is that actually a thing?
And if it, yes, that is actually a thing.
15 times?
Rebooting it 15 times sometimes would force it to still boot correctly. Sometimes. Not guaranteed. And then if that doesn't work, they've had to basically try to get on the phone and guide these people through how to do it.
That's crazy.
Or have been like, take the day off, mail us your device, and we'll mail you a new one.
Yeah, so someone's not just fired. Someone got killed. Someone is
the next person at this point.
Yeah. Wild.
You know what? Their marketing team said we need to get our name more into the public consciousness. God damn that they succeed in their wildest dreams.
That's nuts. Anyway, anything else happened?
I feel like there was one other thing. What the fuck? I don't feel like there was
while you're still looking for that, I watched. I won't give him a spoiler-free review of Long Legs. I think the movie was very incredibly well shot. It had an amazing tone to it. Like the director's cinematography were just like it was one of those movies where like director and cinematographer were like holding hands, skipping through the field together because they were in unison. They nailed that. The entire way everything flows is just very eerie and creepy. I didn't really get too many Alan Wake. There's like one specific thing that feels very Alan Wakey, but like the rest of it felt very Control-esque, I would say, where it was like, it gave you that kind of like, what's the way to describe it? I think, I forget what the
pretentious
modernism. Is that what it is?
Postmodernism.
Yeah, it gave that kind of feel at certain points, even though it didn't really have that exact type. It felt that way the way it was shot. So it gave a lot of those cool points to it. Story wise, is where I see it faltering. Is actually it's funny. I had one of my coworkers post on Facebook being like, that movie was so stupid. Nothing happened. And I'm like, as soon as that happens, I'm like, okay, so this is gonna go one of two ways. Either the plot's gonna fall apart, or it's one of those movies where
nothing matters. Why'd I watch it?
That, or very indie, thoughtful. You need to like process it and understand it, right? Like it's not that. I think
kind of like a Midsummer,
right? Whereas a lot of people were like, well, that was weird. But it's like, no, think about it. It was amazing. I'm kind of on a little bit ironically at both ends of that too, where it's like, I liked what they were doing and I was like enthralled. I went to the movie very sleepy. Somehow kept me awake the entire time. Which is, yeah, like even times like there's been times like Mad Max has been able to keep me awake sometimes like that too. But this one was just so offsetting and off-putting that it made me really stay awake on that. But I think someone I saw on Reddit made a solid point where it's like it felt like you watch someone make a movie with just the first draft. And I think that's kind of where I would put my opinion hat on with that, where it felt like they had a lot of really good ideas. They had a team that was on board with it. It just felt like stuff really needed to be revised at certain points for it to really hit home.
That's funny because I've seen people with complaints on it too, and I guess he has a movie that came before this, and a lot of people have said it copies too much from that movie. So I kind of wonder with you saying it, well, with people saying it feels like a first draft, when this could be like a refined draft of like a story that came before, maybe.
Maybe.
It's interesting to see how that works.
Yeah. There were but like I said, like even if the actual plot, I think the plot's interesting enough that you're gonna want to watch it no matter what. Like by the time I walked out, I was like into it. I was like, oh, that felt really cool. Like I actually really enjoyed it. It's not to the extent of A Quiet Place, but it's definitely one of those like I'm so conflicted. I'm like I want to keep thinking about it because there's like a lot of those. It's one of those look in the background for shit and kind of see if you could spot stuff that kind of like boom, 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 and like it's cool. Like if you're paying attention, you'll catch really cool shit. But also, and it's like one of those where I've seen people like watch this movie like 5-6 times now and are catching stuff like, oh, this makes sense. But also like the more you think about it, you're like, maybe they could have fixed that part. So it really is kind of a mixed bag. A person how the performances are great. I think I forget the actress's name.
Micah Monroe. She is amazing. She was in It Follows as well.
Yeah. Oh, plays. It gave a lot of that weird Twin Peaks vibe where they just don't act correct. It felt like a Silent Hill almost. Like I always kind of wanted to take them, act that exact same way, put them in a Silent Hill movie, because like one for one, they would fit perfectly in Silent Hill 2. Like unironically, no, like they act so weird. There's like scenes like they'll be like both, and it's funny because like the shot doesn't make sense when you think about it. These two characters talk to each other and they're both looking this exact same way. Like I'm looking this way talking, and then you'll have the cutoff, and they'll be looking that exact same way on a different seat on the other side of the room. So it looks like they're both looking somewhere opposite of each other. But it works. It's really off. Like and as we mentioned, like that if horror's ever gonna get me, it's got to be off-putting and something weird and strange like that. That's the stuff that gets me. And they nailed it.
Have you watched It Follows?
I liked It Follows a lot.
Because it has a lot of that too. It's like you don't know where it's coming from, but it's going to come from somewhere, and then you eventually see it.
Right.
Like that shot with like where I think it's the one where she's in class. You see the lady coming up. It's just that continuous shot, and you see him slowly start to walk up. It's amazing.
I'm a sucker for those. I'm gonna spoil the very, very beginning of it. This is like before even the main like title card, if that's fine.
And Darth Vader said that he was his father.
Yeah. I kind of wish he did it a little bit differently. Actually, I really want to steal this shot and do it better. And I felt like I sound like I'm sucking my own dick that much. But it's like I kind of have like these cool ideas. I'm like, ooh, just one more draft, and you got this. But like and they still nailed it, I think. But I'm like, I feel like I could have done it a little better. Where I want to steal it and kind of do it my own. Where it's like shot and it does that really weird like chime that's really weird and creepy, like ding, ding, and then it's gonna hard cut somewhere and something weird's gonna be there, and sure enough it does. But it cut, and it was Nicolas Cage character is kind of there, but I'm like, oh, I wish it was like cut and it felt like this is me talking like the creepypasta side of it, which ironically enough, a lot of people describe this as a creepypasta. Like they feel like the entire story felt like a creepypasta. And I actually kind of agree with that, right? Because like creepypastas are also great in concept, but tend to fall off in execution. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's also correct. But I'm like, oh, I like those shots where like you cough and like something is off and something is there, but you can't quite tell what it is. I like those shots. But like, I think Longlegs is a perfect example of everything aside from the writing as to how to nail a horror movie. Everything like the music, the acting, the shot composition, the directing, everything about it, really was like on 11 out of 10. It's just the plot was just like, we could have polished it up a bit more. So it is what it is on that. But I like it's worth it just watching it because it's so weird and creepy and everything about the way it was shot is really really awesome. And I want to steal notes from it just to put for my own class this upcoming year. Because like one of the for example, the big shot. I don't know if you noticed. I didn't really watch trailers on it. I kind of wanted to go in blind. But like every shot of every person's like tilted upwards, and it's weird. And like just stuff like that is just so funny and so weird, but I love it. But I highly recommend it still. Like I think everyone should go watch it. Just be mindful that it plot could go either way. I know some people will still love it. Like that's fine. I can totally get it. It could have just done one more revision for me. Hey, what's the consensus on horror movies this year? I feel like horror thriller movies come out later this year. I've been catching my attention a bit more. I haven't seen Maxine because I haven't seen the X movies yet. So I can't say on that.
Abigail was good, and I can't remember if it was this year, but the last voyage of the Demeter, that one was really good too. It was coincidentally another Dracula movie.
Late Night with the Devil was this year. That was good. I really liked it. I think a lot of horror movies just really struggle with like landing their jump, which is unfortunate. I think Late Night with the Devil I think is one of those where I actually really liked it. I love the shot. I love the concept. I just know that it lost people at the end, and I totally understand why. But yeah, still recommend Longlegs. Go watch that.
I'll try to catch it this weekend.
I want to hear your opinion on it because, like I said, everything about it was amazing aside from plot. And plot, I think.
Yeah, and see, that's one of those things that's entirely subjective because, like, I could go into it and be like, "Fuck yeah, dude, I liked it."
I think
I was there for the ride.
Like I said, I don't besmirch anyone that says that they love the plot. I could totally see people loving it. I could see myself maybe liking it upon rewatch, maybe when I start to like piecing together a little bit more. But like left theater on like a super high, dropped down a little bit on just upon further thoughts. But like seeing people like catch more and more stuff, like it's one of those like I could see myself going either way. But as it stands, like I still had a really really good time. What else? David, did you find the news?
No.
Anyway, yeah. I want to go look it up. Yeah. Micah Monroe is amazing in that movie. Please, like, love that performance. I think if back me up on that, Kyles. When you watch it this week, tell me if that character does not just cut and paste, put them in Silent Hill, and you're like, done. We're good.
Well, I've seen a lot of people like that's been like one of the big things. Like sometimes a knock against it, people like can't really figure her character out. They can't figure out if it's like her as an actress, if it's direction, if it's like consequence of the story. But me, without even watching it, is it autistic coded? Is that what they're kind of aiming for? Because that kind of feels like the angle that they'd probably
there
be going
is-
for.
There
Or
is
is it like plot relevant?
there is no world on this planet, I think, where you get that kind of performance that is not directed. I would be stunned. Like, it is so out there and bizarre. Like, it is so awkward. But that's kind of the point. Like, I think the character's shelter they don't have anyone that ever visits them. They feel off placed, but like that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Yeah, just
and-
plot relevant.
Yeah, and
Story relevant.
seeing is it's like they're an actress. They've done many movies. I'd be shocked if this was like just how they acted and they managed to stumble their way into these roles, because like no, it's just so bizarre. Like she'll like kind of talk like this. Yes, sir. I don't know what I was doing. That makes sense. Like there's a part where they're like sitting in the car and like the guy's like, "Hey, let's go inside and meet my wife and kids." Do I have to? Like it's so there's something just like it feels like that Silent Hill 2 where it's like the dialogue just feels like weirdly out of place, but like it works, especially in that world. It works. And especially picks up because when the character starts panicking and there's shit going on, it reverts back to like almost like a horror movie actress where it's like, oh, shit's like going down, and like that's why I don't believe that whole like is that just like bad is no, it's directorial, because like they have modes where they flip in and out. But yeah, like just tell me that, like keep that in mind and tell me if I'm wrong on that, because I might be, but I'm like, I swear I could just see them in Silent Hill. That'd be amazing.
Also, we all know the real MVP of autistic characters, Shadows of the Predator, where autism is literally a superpower.
Oh, that took me a second.
Yeah, where they
Yeah.
wanted the autism.
I was like, wait,
Yes.
did they retcon that? Was the alien like actually?
Or was the alien autistic?
Yeah.
What, alien?
This alien's really not catching social
Predator.
cues.
It was
Won't look me in the
Predators, my
eyes, but he'll
bad.
slice my head off. It's
I mean,
weird.
this alien, I'm telling him to fucking stop, and he won't stop.
But yeah, shout outs to the Predators hunting down a small autistic boy because they need that autism gene. It's too powerful.
It sounds like something a parent would tell their kid just to make them feel better, which is. April
Oh,
Murray.
Shane Black, we love you.
April Murray says, "What do y'all think of the movie Trap? That one catches my attention despite the twist getting revealed in trailers. I have not seen a trailer.
Yeah.
We'll go watch it though."
Well, it's M Night Shyamalan.
Oh, I'll
M. Night
probably hate it
Shyamalan
on
Ding
my
Dong.
then.
Yeah, Shyamalan.
I'm usually in for M Night movies. Just like they're just like, I don't take them seriously. I'm like, they're gonna be a dumb fun ride, and then they're gonna try for a twist. Let's see who gets to the twist first. That's
Yeah.
David knows. I'm like how his fiance we're trying to hop ahead of the plot there, and I'm like, that's how I am with
Yeah.
M Night movies. I'm like, all right, who's gonna win first? Who's gonna figure this out first? With that said, let me go look really quick and check one last time. Juice your all of my face, bud. This week. All I see for top gaming news today and on Reddit games is that Roblox is a pedophile problem.
Oh my god. that's
Surprising, literally no one.
I think the internet has one of those.
Yeah.
Bethesda game studio workers have unionized.
Oh yeah, shout out to them. Forgot about that.
horrible. Nice.
For them.
You'll have to see it.
Stardew Valley creator says he'll never charge money for DLC or on future updates.
What a fucking Chad. Let's go.
I mean, I to be fair, like, yeah, you better not. Like, I get that you put heart, soul into it as a single developer, but you've also, like, you're good. You're set for life. So I'm glad.
And he like came back to it like mid like working on the next game too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fucking based.
2.2 million people were willing to pay $100 to play College Football 25 3 days early.
Yeah, I seen that shit.
That's
Play it a day late and you get $10 cheaper. Let's go.
$40 right there.
That's Sigma brand shit. Yeah.
Another No Man's Sky update. Good for them.
Good for them.
Helldivers update, David.
Yeah, big one.
Oh
coming
boy,
up.
one day
August
we'll
6th.
play.
We gonna play that?
One day.
You tell us.
I'm waiting for you guys to tell me a time to
That's
play.
bullshit. That's bullshit because I've asked you like the last
No,
like 2 weeks
because
and you're like,
you were the last
I'm
hold
busy.
up. You were literally the last hold up because you're like,
No,
oh, no,
I was
you're
no.
going on.
Hold on, not the last one because I asked you last week and you said you were busy.
Fuck.
So now it's on you, brother.
You guys tell me when you're free.
Kels, when
It's
you want to
easier for
play?
me to plan around other people.
Kels, what are you doing Thursday night?
Deadpool Wolverine.
All right. What are we doing Friday night?
Oh shit! I think Friday's one. I'm doing Deadpool. Wolverine.
Motherfucker. All right. Well, we see.
I gotta,
this
I
is-
gotta
weekend.
double check with my partner when our tickets are for.
Should be free
tomorrow.
this weekend though.
Tomorrow I can't.
Okay. Well,
Next week
Bam, settled.
we'll figure it out.
Oh, actually, this is cool. I didn't notice this. I guess Flat Out 2 got some updates.
Hell yeah! Flat out based.
Oh, so 18 years after Flat Out 2, all Flat Out games have been updated to be Steam Deck verified.
Oh,
You'll love to see it.
Fuck yeah, I'm actually gonna download those. I downloaded Flat Out 2 originally, and it was kind of weird with Steam Deck, so I'm gonna try that now. All right, I think that's it. Shout outs to David. We had old guys returned like M. Bison and Heihachi, but one old guy had to step out. So shout out to Joe Biden for stepping out and taking the hit for us, right?
I've reposted it as soon as I saw it. The Phantom Thief has successfully cleared his palace.
Was there anything else left of it? They go on. There's like cobwebs everywhere.
where's the boss? There's no boss.
Yeah.
He saw himself out and just
The funniest thing I think I read was right afterwards was someone like, guys, can you believe the Republicans are putting some old white guy up there as a nominee? It's fucking weird, man, right? Oh, brother.
well, it's funny because now you're seeing reports of so many people be like, they're trying to do a coup by not using Biden, and it's like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah,
That's
they're
not how
trying to
any
do
of
like
this works.
reverse psychology. No, this is bad for you.
Fucking, I hear just some poor fucking FGC scrub screaming, "Run it back, run it back!" in the back of my brain.
All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap there.
Hell yeah!
Hey, Perry says to wait.
Always
He'll be
wrap
revived. Joe Biden will always be revived.
Dark Brandon will return.
Yeah. He's DLC for 2028.
All right. With that said, stream, we're out. If you're ready, you take care, man. Anyone else in stream?
Yeah. Bye bye.